Hi, this is Rob Manfred, Commissioner of Major League Baseball. I'm here to assure you that even though I've instituted a lockout, there will be no such work stoppage from Belly Up Sports. Visit the Belly Up Sports and bellyupsports.com and follow them on Twitter to discover podcasts and news articles that cover all professional sports organizations that are run much better than the one I am in charge of. But don't veer too far from us now. Belly Up Sports will be sure to cover the upcoming grudge match of the world's worst run professional sports league against the world's worst represented labor union. And as always, thank you to our 5 subscribers to MLB Network, especially Greg Probist in Illinois. Thank you. Enjoy the podcast, and we'll maybe see you in the fall again to raise the hunk of metal.
All right. What's up, everybody? Our podcast is really improving.
Holy cow.
We got Rob Manfred to read our ad read. How great are we?
How much did that cost us?
Greg, how much did that cost? I think he owes us money now.
It probably cost us listeners. Yeah. we're probably Manfred supporters now. So,
oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, here come the tomatoes.
The goggles, they do nothing. All right. Well, hello, everybody. Happy Friday when you're listening to this. It's Justin here. We got Greg and Vinny. We are back with another episode of Baseball and Whatever. This week, episode 34. We'll be talking tons of baseball lockout talk. Our dislike for Rob Manfred. We'll talk about some of the hot stove signings that took place. I know we got one for the Cubs. Me and Vinny are very excited about for once. And then for our whatever category, we are talking best PlayStation 1 games. So if you grew up in the 90s, like all of us, I still remember when I got my PS1, I think it was Christmas of 96. We are going to talk about our top 5 PlayStation 1 games. We had a bunch of people write in on the MinMax Discord, the Game Informer Facebook group, and a couple people on Twitter also wrote in. So thank you for all those. If this is your first time listening, we do baseball for the first half, and then we talk about whatever we want in the second half. If you want to reach out to us, you can email us at baseballandwhatever@gmail.com or baseball and whatever podcast at bellyupsports.com. Tweet us at baseballandwhat. Facebook.com, baseball and /baseball and whatever. I think that's everything. I'm running on like 5 hours of sleep. So my brain is like shutting down halfway in between.
Get the text line?
The text line. Thank you, Vinny. How could I forget the text line? If you want to send us a text or leave us a voicemail that we will listen to, it is 1-913-808-3278 or 1-913-808-FART.
Manfred.
There we go. All right, so we don't have any no listener comments this week, no text messages this week, but we did get a new YouTube subscriber, so thank you, Vernon Muffin Man 954 Blue. Thank you for checking us out.
What a great name!
I know it's a mouthful, right?
Yeah.
Also, if you would rather see the video version of this podcast, go on YouTube, search baseball and whatever, and feel free to subscribe so we can eventually get a real official URL instead of having to tell people to search for us. So, without further ado, I'm going to shut up because Greg texted me. He is pumped about all these offseason signings. So, Greg, I am handing the keys to you. Take over. Do what you got to do.
Here we go. The Titanic has hit the iceberg. The lifeboats are going. Some jumped on and some remain in the freezing cold Atlantic.
It's been a pleasure to play with you.
Exactly. The orchestra is playing, but we still have $1,708,600,000 to cover spent in free agency.
Jeez.
So are you guys ready to get to it right here? Let's burn. Justin, cue the music. So where do we start? No, how about the Rangers? Texas Rangers stealing all of our guys, at least to start with.
What the hell?
a lot of the guys we mentioned before, hey, they'd be great on our team. No longer. They are all going to Texas Rangers. Second baseman Marcus Semien agrees to a 7-year, $175 million deal to play second base. They also get outfielder Cole Calhoun, agrees to a 1-year, $5.2 million Starting pitcher John Gray agrees to a 4-year, $56 million. Sorry, Roy, if you're listening. I know you'd brought him up before the
Roy nailed. I went back and listened to that episode that Roy wrote in about the Rangers and stuff, and I was like, "Holy cow, he nailed this!"
Roy is like some inside guy, or something.
He knows this better than us.
Some genius. Yep. Obviously, the big one here: shortstop Corey Seager agrees to a 10-year, $325 million deal to play shortstop. No opt-outs. There's no escaping this. The Rangers are committed. John Heyman wrote, Dodgers reportedly made a solid effort to re-sign him, and the dollars figure wasn't that far from the Rangers deal, but had no deferrals and is front-loaded. $140 million in the first 4 years, plus no state income tax in Texas. So that deal got it done. The Rangers commit over $500 million in the span of hours.
By like year 5, they're going to be regretting that one.
They might be regretting that by year 3.
Yeah.
that is $500 million in their infield, just their middle infield alone, in committed dollars too. So that is massive. They're not even, in my opinion, that's not even enough to win the division.
No.
That's still still towards the bottom right there.
Yep.
But anyway, let's keep burning through this. The Mets go bat pitch crazy on Black Friday. Jack Lugo braked a couple signings for us. Infielder Eduardo Escobar agreed to a 2-year, $20 million deal. He's expected to play third base. Outfielder Mark Hanna agrees to 2 years, $26.5 million. Outfielder Starling Marte agrees to 4 years and $78 million. So there's a new freaking lineup for you, Mets. But the big one for them was starting pitcher Max Scherzer, Mad Max, 3 years, $130 million.
Jeez.
Includes an opt-out after the second year, plus a full no-trade clause. He sets the record highest AAV at $43.3 million a year, which is a 20% jump from Garrett Cole's $36 million. Scherzer's contract is backloaded by $1 in 2024. That means he'll be earning $43,333,333, and in 2024 it'll be for $43,333,334. Did I say that right?
Sure.
From John Heyman.
Yeah.
Would you guys? Okay, here's a question, Vinny. I was talking to your dad about this the other day when we were visiting. Would you do this signing if you were the Cubs or the White Sox?
Yes,
you would.
I would. Yep.
For Scherzer?
For Scherzer.
Not the Cubs.
No. Okay, that's how I felt too.
He doesn't move. He doesn't like. He's not a. He's a final piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they need many pieces.
They may need many pieces. Okay,
as we will discuss later.
What about Greg? You would do it though because I mean that would put them over the hump.
Yeah, that gives us an ace right away. I mean, I know where he got one, but that's like a real ace.
But I mean, are you ever worried though that the wheels are going to fall off after? I mean, I almost want to say he's so old, but he's only like 2.5 years older than me. He's 37, I think, right?
He is, and he's on the decline, but his decline is still better than most pitchers. Could the wheels fall off? Absolutely. Yeah. But I'm just like,
he's with the Mets. They will fall off.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I think it was
offense, Mets fans.
I think it might have been Mark Lazarus, who's the beat writer for the Hawks, but he's a big Mets fan because I want to say he's from New York, and he's like, in true Mets fashion, Max Scherzer will have his arm fall off in like a tractor accident, and they will eat all the money starting tomorrow or something like that. I'm like, yeah, that checks out, knowing the Mets luck, but we'll see what happens.
So there's a lot of incentives that have been reported of a lot of the deals. We'll go over a few of them, but for his, he gets $200,000 if he wins MVP, $200,000 if he wins Cy Young, $150,000 if he's a World Series MVP, $100,000 for League Series or League Championship MVP. I'm sorry, $100,000 if he's an All-Star, and somewhere in there $10 for flushing the toilet every time he takes a shit. Mets projected 2022 payroll is over $260 million, currently the highest in the MLB. I don't know. That was of November 30th. I don't know where the Rangers land in that. I still think the Mets are higher, but last time they led MLB in payroll was 1989 with opening day payroll of $21.3 million. That was the opening day figure. Scherzer will make a little less than that right before the All-Star.
I got to admit,
there you go.
I kind of felt like Steve Cohen, the new owner of the Mets, was kind of a doofus the way he talks on Twitter. But
Well,
damn, if he doesn't want to win, I mean, like, it's kind of exciting to see an owner throw that much money at something to make it better. We'll see if it is. I mean, if it's like the end of May and the Mets are already like 10 games out, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. I hope that's not the case for Mets fans. Like for Jack and stuff, I would hope that things go better. But man, that's a lot of money to be thrown around. But good for them if they got it. So
did you guys see?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say with Scherzer. Did you guys see that I forgot who reported it, but he was upset with the pitch count or the pitch limit that the Dodgers instituted, and he said that was the reason for his dead arm.
I didn't realize that.
You guys see that?
No.
And I was going to ask you, Greg, is there truth to that? I mean, did you ever get dead arm pitching?
Did I ever get it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you think do you know like what might have caused it? Was it overuse or was it more of, because he equates it to that he had too much rest and he actually wouldn't have gotten it if he would have went out there every fifth day or whatever. Yeah,
I mean, he knows his body best. So whatever kind of rest or repetition he needs to be at his full strength. I mean, he would know best, obviously. So if pitch limits are his thing, and you'll see a couple like old school pitchers that will get, mad about that. Lance Lynn being another one, for example, that don't want to pitch limit on that. That I could absolutely see that. And with me personally, I mean, I didn't have the arm strength, or I just wasn't built to be a thrower like that. I think that's what I equate it to. But I mean, if he needs to get to if he needs to feel a certain way on the mound right there, and then being pulled early because he reaches a certain number, but he's not necessarily feeling he has reached his limit yet, that might throw him off. As we said, pitchers are diva before. Everything has to be so perfect. So there's a lot of factors that come into that. But yeah, I could definitely get on board with that. And the Dodgers, that's a Dodgers thing, especially with Dave Roberts too. And you can see that anger on the mound right there. I know you saw it with Kershaw too, and maybe even Zach Greinke when he was there. So yeah, that's I'm not surprised that he said that, I guess.
Okay.
The estimated current opening day payrolls from Baseball Perspective, just to continue on Max Scherzer here. Mariners before the Robbie Ray signing was $57 million. The Guardians, $46.7 million. Max Scherzer, $43.3 million. The Pirates, $40.2 million, and the Orioles, $37 million. So Max Scherzer is making more than all of the Pirates and the Orioles at this point.
Isn't that pathetic? For those two organizations not to spend? The Mariners spend, but Cleveland and I mean, that's sad. Put some money in your team. Those fans I feel bad for those fans.
Well, we can revisit that too if we get into the labor strife negotiations. Because I know a league minimum cap is also in play right there, and if that does end up going through, the Pirates and Orioles would need to spend a lot more money. So you'll see like one guy just to make payroll will make like $70 million a year or something. Just
right,
the one dude. And just one interesting little nugget I found. The starting rotation Max was a part of his rookie season. That was in Arizona in 2008. Included Randy Johnson, who of course is a Hall of Famer, Brandon Webb, former Cy Young winner, three-time All-Star, two-time NL wins leader, big sinker ball guy. Dan Herron, if you remember him, he was a three-time All-Star. Doug Davis had a nice long 13-year career, and current free agent Yusmeiro Petit had a long 14-year career. So there's some names, there's some longevity in his rookie year in Arizona, going way back to 08 right over there.
Totally forgot about Brandon Webb. He was like an ace for a couple of years there, and then just fell off.
And disappeared for a little bit. But he did win that Cy Young. So moving up north to Toronto, Plan A is to enforce Plan B. Kevin Gossman agreed to a 5-year, $110 million deal with the Jays. That's some nice money right there. I feel like some other teams could have gotten in on that. Supposedly the same figure they offered Robbie Ray, but Robbie Ray wanted to wait So they're like, fuck it, give it to Gossman. Ray's like, ah, shit, better fucking sign. Getting back to that later. Moving down to Florida, Kim is spending like a Kardashian. Outfielder, former White Sox Avisail Garcia signs a 4-year, $53 million deal.
Could not, but like I literally saw that. And I think I texted you. I'm like, wait, he's still playing in the league he's getting a $53 million contract.
Yep.
Did he have that good of a year?
He was good with Milwaukee.
Okay.
Yeah, he was good with Milwaukee.
Good for him.
He wasn't bad with Chicago his last year, but it was just too long and too much. So but no, Avi gets paid a little bit of an overpay, but I mean he slots in right there in the middle of the lineup, to be perfectly honest. Adds a lot of power. They also extend their ace Sandy Alcantara. He signed a 4-year, $56 million extension, pretty close to the Avi deal. Made a couple trades. They acquired catcher Jacob Stallings from Pittsburgh in exchange for Zach Thompson and minor leaguers Kyle Nicholas and Connor Scott. Those guys sound so white. Jacob Stallings was the NL Gold Glove winner, the only catcher in Major League Baseball without a passed ball in 2021.
Wow.
And finished second in Major League Baseball with 21 defensive runs saved. So that's a nice little pickup for them. Kim is also cleaning out the old shit. She traded catcher Jorge Alfaro to San Diego in exchange for cash considerations or a player to be named later. Alfaro was a piece in the JT Realmuto trade to the Phillies, and outfielder Lewis Brinson, who was the main piece in the Christian Yelich trade to the Brewers, has been hanged, drawn, and quartered by Miami and is now a free agent. So there you go. That old regime, all that shit is out, starting fresh with all those bad trades, getting rid of it. Sticking with our friends in Florida, Del Boca Vista, Del Vista Becco, and the Pines of Mar Gables agree on a trade with each other. The Fish acquired Joey Wendell from the Rays for outfielder Cameron Misner, who knows? Misner was the 31st or the 35th overall pick in 2019 and played in Double-A last season. Marlins will have 2 more years of control with Wendell, and the Rays are expected to use Yandy Diaz more at third base. Congratulations. And moving to the Twins, they are handing out participation extensions. Outfielder Byron Buxton signs a 7-year, $100 million extension with the Twins, which includes a $1 million signing bonus, $9 million salary in 2022, $15 million from 23 to 28, a full no trade clause, and incentives. MVP finish bonuses. For first place MVP, $8 million, second, $7 million, third place, $6 million, fourth place, $5 million, fifth place, $4 million, and 6th to 10th place, $3 million. How about that? A 10th place, $300 million fucking trophy. Participation. That's all you got to do. Just raise your hand. Here's $3 million. 500,000. Go ahead, Vinny.
The big thing, I was going to say, the big thing for him is to participate. If he can stay healthy, he'll be up there, and he'll be competitive.
I was going to touch on that when I get finished off. It's actually, but I'll mention now. It's actually a well-structured contract. I think it's a win-win for both teams, and I hate the Twins, but that's good for them and it's good for Buxton because he can earn a lot more money for. I mean, we'll get to it right here. $500,000 for each. 502, 533, 567, 600, and 625 plate appearances. $500,000 for each. It's like, what the fuck? 30 from 502 to 530, you get another $500K.
That's like what, 5-6 games, right?
Yeah, participation. Yeah. You got to stand there at the plate. Another 30.
You know how many times he's gone over 500 in his career?
Oh, not many.
0.
Once.
I was going to say it can't be more than
in his 7-year career. He's done it once.
His big thing is hurt. Otherwise, he's a stud, man. He's all kinds of talent.
Yeah.
And somewhere in that contract is $5 every time for washing his hands after going doo-doo. Jerry Douche Poto, speaking of doo-doo, is doing things. Your guy, Justin.
Yeah, granted, I don't know. I feel like I follow the roster more than the front office, but it seems like talking to some Mariners fans on Twitter, no one likes Jerry DiPoto. No one likes him in Seattle. So it seems like they were pretty excited, though, about some of these signings that just came through the pipeline this week. So
Absolutely. Well, there's a trade right there. Second baseman and outfielder Adam Frazier lands with the Mariners. He's from the Padres, of course. The Padres receive left-handed pitcher Ray Kerr and outfielder Corey Rossier from the Mariners. And the big one from Jerry, starting pitcher Robbie Ray, Cy Young winner. 5 years, $115 million deal. Not bad at all, which includes an opt-out after the third year. What do you guys think about that one?
I wish the Cubs could have made an offer like that.
I know we're in on that. Yeah.
He had the qualifying offer.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Cy Young. And he was only really good that year, 1 year. Yep. Yeah. I mean, look at his track record. I mean, this guy was, if you go back in time when he was a rookie, I mean, he was I think the Nationals drafted him, but they ended up on the Tigers in like the Doug Fister trade.
Oh God.
So I mean, that's been a while, but yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I think the Blue Jays just kind of fixed him up a little bit because you kind of look, I think they did side-by-side video, and his delivery of the plate now is just a lot cleaner, where that arm's just not getting in front of him and everything. Mm-hmm. So if he sticks with that, we'll see. And we're a Mariners pod a little bit.
Go Mariners.
Our guy Zach on Facebook writes in, I'm pretty stoked on the acquisitions the Mariners made with Adam Frazier and Robbie Ray. I'm hoping
how he sounds?
Lewis, pretty sure.
I'll say Zach also bought one of our t-shirts, I think, too. So thank you, Zach.
We love you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping Kyle Lewis comes back from the injury. After Seager leaves, they need a 30-homer, 100 RBI guy.
Why does he sound like a Bond villain?
I don't know. Does that sound like a Bond villain?
Or a Bond henchman or something?
Oh, a henchman. I would like that. Yeah, maybe he.
All right, well, Zach, write in and tell us if you sound like a Bond villain. Let us know.
Continuing on, the Halo sign more pitching. That seems off character, but I guess the contracts are locked in. Got a big time closer. Raisel Iglesias signs a 4-year, $58 million deal after initially declining the qualifying offer. So they got a big time closer right there. And former Reds and super buff guy Michael Lorenzen agrees to a 1-year, $6.75 million deal. The Angels now have both two-way players in Major League Baseball. One's just a lot better than the other. So happy holidays to the Taylor family. Super utility man Chris Taylor signs a 4-year, $60 million freaking dollar deal with the Dodgers. $15 million he'll get in 22 and 23. $13 million in 24 and 25 includes a 5th-year option with a $4 million buyout, but he can max out at $73 million if it's picked up. A lot of people comparing this contract to the one the Cubs gave Ben Zobrist.
Right, that makes sense.
Ben Zobrist was a little bit older, but I think I wrote 4-year 65, but I believe that was 56 actually. So, Chris Taylor, any thoughts on him? Vinny, I know you speculated that was a bit of an overpay. I tend to agree with you.
I would agree too.
I think they were just trying to lock him up because they lost Seager.
Yeah.
I think it was just something. It was a cheaper deal that they could do without, having to go get Story or Correa.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can slot him in at second base and then move Trey Turner over to short, I suppose. So
yeah. And then they were they were talking about too that I think they're in on Freddie Freeman. So I also saw that if they get Freeman, that they'll move Muncy to second. But I think didn't Muncy just tear his Did I see something that he just had surgery on like his ACL or something like that?
Oh, he might have. Yeah, I'm not sure.
He got injured. I don't know. Maybe I was dreaming that. I don't know. But
but if that's the case,
that's the plan.
Yeah.
But then he's back. Then he's a backup utility, super utility, like the Ben Zobrist, and just move around the
probably play a little more outfield. He can even play a little center field too, which I think he played a little bit last year too, with all those guys in the lineup.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting deal right there. I know some Sox fans were on he was on their radar a little bit. I'll get more to that later, but I was like, that's just kind of hit or miss for me. Good for him though. That's a lot of money. It was actually a little bit under. I was checking back on MLB trade rumors, and they had 4 years, $64 million, which was interesting. Okay. So that just came a little bit under. So I'm like, ooh, that was pretty close.
But if he maxes out, it's over.
That's true. That's true. If that option's picked, I was like, so many of these contracts are going to last so long that we'll see where these guys are at when they're old dudes. So But speaking of old dudes, even the old dudes can get some money right here. I've got a list of names to burn through right here. Starting pitcher Corey Kluber signs a 1-year, $8 million with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay sees something. Now he's going to win the Cy Young.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Who was he with last year? Was it Baltimore?
Yankees.
Oh, okay.
New York signed him, I remember, early on, too, I think. I think they did 1 for 11 or 1 for 12 or something. So,
okay.
But he was hurt a lot of it too. Michael Wacha signs a 1-year, $7 million deal with the Boston Red Sox. Right-handed pitcher Cabby Yates signs a 2-year, $8.25 million deal with the Brewers with a 3rd-year club option for $5.75 million with a $1.25 million buyout. That's a lot of money. Right-handed reliever Daniel Hudson signs a 1-year, $7 million deal with the Dodgers. Starting pitcher Alex Cobb signs a 2-year, $20 million deal with San Francisco. The guy we thought was Alex Wood was actually Alex Cobb, and now Alex Cobb is going to San Francisco. But wait right there, Mr. Bond. San Francisco also signs Alex Wood as well. So they have Wood and Cobb and Wood. So There you go. A couple of Alex's there. He signs a 2-year, $25 million deal. That's a lot of money for those two Cobb Wood guys. So
a lot of money.
But they need a bolster. They literally need bodies in their starting rotation because I think like Johnny Cueto had like a I don't know $80 million club option or something that they were going to turn down, obviously. So catcher Roberto Perez, former Indian, signs a 1-year, $5 million deal with Pittsburgh. They need a catcher because they traded theirs away. He'll replace Stallings. Do yourself a favor. Don't look at Roberto Perez's stats at the place for the second half of the season. They are pretty rough.
Right.
Hector Neris signs a 2-year, $17 million deal with Houston of the replacement for Kendall Graveman. Daniel Bard re-signs with the Colorado Rockies on a 1-year, $4.4 million deal. Infielder Orlando Arcia avoids arbitration with the Brewers, agreeing to a 2-year, $3 million deal. He's getting some Bodie money right there. Bodie might be making more. The Braves acquired him last season from the Brewers. He hit well in AAA, but stunk when he called back up to the big league.
He always does.
Ended up playing some left field towards the end of the season. Shortstop Kevin Newman avoided arbitration with Pittsburgh, agreeing to a 1-year, $1.025 million salary. That's like 1 in like 1/40th or something. And Chad Kuhl got non-tendered. San Diego adds to the pen a little bit. Right-handed reliever Emilio Pagan avoids arbitration and signs a 1-year, $2.3 million deal. Right-handed pitcher reliever Luis Garcia signs a 2-year, $7 million deal. Third baseman Gio Urshela avoids arbitration with the Yankees, agreeing to a 1-year, $6.55 million salary. And the Yankees supposedly tendered a contract to their starting catcher, Gary Sanchez. I don't know what those numbers are, and nor do I really care. Outfielder Austin Slater avoids arbitration with Giants, agreeing to a 1-year, $1.85 million salary. Rougned Odor, the boxer, the guy who slugged Jose Bautista in the face, signs a 1-year deal with Baltimore. Bad contracts. Yummy. Texas will eat $12 million salary for 2022 and the $3 million buyout for his 2023 option. If you remember back to 2017, he signed a 6-year, $49.5 million deal with the Rangers. Baltimore only has to pay the league minimum portion, which at the moment is $570,000 or $570,500. So yeah, there we go. Baltimore, the place where you go to die at the moment.
Yep.
So almost out here. Old lefties are heading to Boston. Starting pitcher James Paxton signs a 1-year, $10 million deal. He's coming off his second Tommy John. Should be back in the summer. We'll see. Also has club options for 23 and 24, reaching $35 million total if the options are picked up. And lefty Rich Hill, who's 40 freaking 1 now, signs a 1-year, $5 million deal plus additional incentives. He goes 7-8 with a 3.86 ERA last year between the Rays and the Mets. If this does not continue to prove my theory that you just have to throw a baseball left-handed at a decent speed and get it over the plate, occasionally throw a strike, you will be handed bags full of money. So there. I think it's just set in stone at this point. Some old dudes can get traded too. Red Sox trade outfielder Hunter Renfroe to the Brewers for minor league infielders David Hamilton and Alex Benelas. But the big name in that package is their old friend and Gold Glover Jackie Bradley Jr. The Brew Crew gets some power back in the lineup with Renfroe after losing Garcia and Escobar. Jake, your brother-in-law Jake, chimes in, Justin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, he goes, love it. Stearns, our GM, is a wizard. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. JBJ is garbage and was making $10 million to be a fourth or fifth useless outfielder. Gave away for some prospects, but got a power bat to play right field, which they needed. Jake sounds pretty happy.
Yeah, he sounds pretty psyched. I texted him this morning and asked him, like, hey, so what do you think? What's the deal with this? And he was pretty excited. He is a devout Brewers fan. I've never met someone more into the Brewers in my life. So.
I wore my Brewers hat
just for him
today. So
right,
just for
good.
him, Jake, if you're watching, if you're listening, this Brewers hat's for you, my love. So continuing on, starting pitcher Dylan Bundy signs a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Twins. Rather have Al Bundy, me personally. Closer Corey Knebel signs a 1-year, $10 million with Philly. He's ready to prove that he's an all-star caliber closer once again. Closer Mark Melanson signs a 2-year, $14 million deal with Arizona. Arizona, they're getting in on the buying right here. So
Texas West, apparently. Yeah.
They get themselves a closer. I guess they didn't have one last year. Mark Melanson led all of Major League Baseball last season with 39 saves with a 2.33 ERA with San Diego. Right-handed pitcher, reliever, starter, I don't know what he is because I don't remember, is Nick Martinez is almost coming home. He signs a 4-year, $20 million contract with San Diego, but didn't quite get the deal finalized before the deadline. So technically he's a still free agent. That should be finished up after the lockout happens in the next 7 years or so. He last played in the big leagues for the Rangers in 2017, but spent the last 4 seasons in Japan. His last year with the SoftBank Hawks, he had a 1.62 ERA with a 24.8 strikeout percentage and a 6.6 walk rate. Martinez is also represented by agent Alan Nero of Octagon, who during a live interview held his phone to his ass and farted at a question by Bruce Levine on 670 The Score. That was fucking heroic. Padres also bring in Roberto Suarez, who has never pitched in Major League Baseball and is also coming over from Japan on a 1-year Major League contract. And guys, to close out this wonderful hot stove season, signings, all this wonderful stuff, Darren O'Day agrees to a minor league contract with the Atlanta Brewers.
So I'm just throwing this out there, but it sounds like, the league is in a pretty good place for all this money to be spent. Wouldn't you agree?
I think
Justin.
I think the lockout's a good thing, isn't it? Because then you get all this frenzy, and then it all just goes away.
I don't know.
The ship sinks to the bottom.
I didn't have the patience to read it. Did any of you guys read that statement from Rob Manfred? What was
ridiculous?
What was the gist of it, Vinny? That they released today?
He literally just took a dump on the players. Pretty much was just saying it was all their fault. Free agency has been the best it's been because all the money that's going around and the players are asking for too much and it's all their fault. Completely tone deaf and completely. I don't know who's in baseball PR, who's ever, looking at the Cubs and their bad PR and now
the Blackhawks
baseballs. Even just like Major League Baseball's PR. Do they all, and they must all have the same PR firm because their PR stinks in baseball. No optics whatsoever. if you're trying to get people on your side, you don't completely just point the finger. You take some blame on yourself and be like, we're really working on trying to, get this. We feel that this is the best opportunity to meet this, to get negotiations going. We're both trying to work on what's fair for everyone, not say it's their fault. They're being, greedy players and, blah, 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 blah. But, he talked about, baseball players have it so much better than all the other sports because there's no salary cap. Well, okay, don't insult us. There is a salary cap. It's called the competitive balance tax or whatever, the luxury tax, whatever you want to call it. That is a salary cap because owners try to get under that.
Yeah, they don't want to pay over.
They're not blasting past it. There's no reason for them to go over that, really. They all try to stay under it. That all happens. Don't insult our intelligence by saying that. And then I also saw a report on Twitter. I don't know who had it, but they also said that the MLB came out and said that they weren't going to, during these last negotiations, that they weren't going to increase MLB pension for cost of living. They weren't going to do that. Was like the first thing that they said in the meeting, and then negotiations ended just right after.
30 seconds later, they were out of the room.
And it's like, okay, we're supposed to feel bad for the billionaire owners. I'm sorry. I know I don't know if I talked with you guys about last year when all the negotiations were going on. I wasn't really on the players' side 100% on that because it seemed like every deal that came from the owners, the players just immediately said
rejected.
No, thank you. And in my opinion, you had the CBA signed. They were upset about all the manipulation. You guys agreed to that. You can't really poo-poo it if you agree to it. You don't hate the player, hate the game.
The game,
or whatever it is, or hate. So I was more on the owner side there. Now that the deal's done and they're negotiating a new deal, I'm on the player side 100%.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're asking for reasonable stuff. They're trying to get, a fair share of the pie. It's not about, Manfred said, all the money, these guys are making. Well, they're not. The players union is not fighting for the Max Scherzers. They're fighting for the David Bodys.
Yeah.
The guys that are making league minimum.
Exactly.
To get that floor up so that the guys that are, especially the rookies that are being held down for God knows how long, and with reported that they're going to make them force them to be a rookie until 29 years of age, regardless.
29 and a half years.
What the hell is that?
Service time to get rid of that, and think that that's fair when guys are getting into the league at age 20, 22 around there. That's stupid. So the MLB is completely tone deaf on this, and screw them. And screw Manfred.
You're spot on. I mean, it's millionaires arguing with billionaires, and the ones that get screwed the most are the fans who just want to enjoy the thing. The other thing that really upset me, and I know Pete Alonso talked about it during the season, and nobody really did anything with it. Everyone thought it was a bunch of crap, but apparently the story leaked that the MLB was issuing different types of baseballs to different series based on what was a marquee matchup and what was more of nobody's watching this game, give them the ball that doesn't jump out of the park, which doesn't make any sense. If you want people to watch the game, wouldn't you give the series that are more boring a better ball, like a more bouncy, a more flying ball, so to speak? I don't understand. And as a pitcher, I would think that would mess you up, right? If you could tell the difference of which one you're getting, and that's going to change your salary arbitration. It's going to change what you can get for free agency based on your stats. Screw that guy, man. He sucks. He's the worst. I thought Gary Bettman was the worst commissioner in all pro sports. Rob Manfred literally said, "Hold my beer," and then got into a Corvette and steamed past him as fast as he could.
Well,
he even admitted it in the beginning of our show. So
that's true. He did. He's not going to come. He's not going to do another ad read now, unfortunately.
What was it? The Athletic sent out. I don't know if you guys get emails from the Athletic. They sent out a quick 30-second summary of the lockout and how we got here. I don't mind. Do you guys mind if I just read?
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
It says, first, why the players want a larger share of the revenue. Historically, it's hovered around 50-50 in the modern era. Currently, owners get 57%, while the players receive 43%. I'm curious on that one because the owners refuse to open up the books and show what they're making. So it's interesting how he got to that, but I wouldn't be surprised. The second, the players also want to end service time manipulation or diminish its effect on their earning power. We've seen it repeatedly. Young stars shelved in the minor leagues longer than necessary. Yep. Clubs game the system in order to depress salary and keep players under team control longer. Yes. And then finally, the union wants to incentivize competition. The league has seen more teams outright tank in the last few years, which has an adverse effect on the on-field product and on-player salaries. No tanking team is going to line up or pay a mid-tier free agent. So where do those guys play? The myriad possible solutions, but the sides can't seem to agree on a route. So, I mean, that's, kind of my rant. I touched on some of that stuff, but that's kind of a better summary and more articulate than what I was saying. It's just ridiculous. They're trying to make it fair. Having a floor makes sense. Rob Manfred said that the players are complaining about free agency being broken, and he said that it's not. Well, I think it completely is when you have players that, they turn down the qualifying offer. Now they have this penalty. If a team signs them, they lose their draft pick. Mm-hmm. Why not make it like the NFL, where is if that player goes and gets signed, you get an additional pick in a certain round, depending on what that contract is. That makes complete sense. Mm-hmm. And that way the player won't be looked at as having, I can't pay you as much because I'm going to lose a draft pick of in the first round of a good player. That's just one thing right there. That can be easily fixed just looking at other leagues. But again, owners refuse to do that because let's keep the salaries down. Well, you got a draft pick there. I can't pay you as much. Sorry, buddy. Yeah. It seems very simple, and it just seems, too. Yeah. Or guys, I should say the owners are just being, thick-headed and not looking at the bigger picture.
I mean, the 94 strike lockout, whatever you want to call it, like that really damaged baseball. It took a long time for fans to come back.
That wasn't it. That was actually the strike. That was
strike.
Actually,
I'm sorry.
It was a work stoppage.
Work stoppage.
The other side. Yeah, it's the player.
But I mean that work stoppage. I don't want to be hyperbolic and be like, oh, it almost killed baseball. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it took a long time. Like Cal Ripken's streak is what brought people back. The home run chase brought people back, and now all you hear is how baseball is not dying, but it's life support. All these rule changes are coming to try and draw more younger fans. Right. And then you're gonna lock out the players, which I mean, I guess legally they didn't have to, but like it just was. This is what we're doing. But if you lose any type of games, spring training out, whatever. But if you lose any type of regular season games, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Well, I wanted to touch on that because you make a good point. Because back then in '94, like you brought up. When you found out about how negotiations were going, you had to read it the next day in the Chicago Sun-Times or something like that. Yeah. And it was still like America's pastime. Like you were looking forward to it. Now with the absence of baseball, if there's an absence of baseball, what do you turn to? You go to Netflix. Yeah. And everything's just forgotten. And there goes your fandom right there. It can drop so much faster.
Not to mention too, I think you can mobilize a lot of fans too, to boycott certain things. Oh yeah. Because you have social media now too. All it takes is one reporter to say, hey, this is what happened in the meeting today. Yep. And if it doesn't look good for the
whether it's true or not,
you can really turn.
I'm out.
I already saw people trying to push, don't buy any MLB apparel until the lockout's over or until this gets situated, damage them where it's going to hurt in their pocketbooks. I'm like, well, yeah, I agree with that, but these guys are so well off. Is them not selling jerseys for 2 months really going to hurt their bottom line? If you'd listen to Tom Ricketts, I'm sure it would. Yes, but no, I don't think it's going to hurt them at all. So
well, now they've said what they need to do a winter break right now.
Yeah,
was it so? Yeah. You've waited all this time to come to a CBA, and you waited to the end, but now we need a break. So yeah, what were you doing before then?
Yeah, exactly. So,
Greg, I wanted to ask you because you're the baseball purist on here. when they're talking about, incentivizing competition, is expanding the playoffs a possibility? I saw on Twitter from your boy Crawley that he was very adamant in saying that the baseball playoffs are fine. They don't need to be tweaked. I'll be honest, during the pandemic season, I loved the playoffs. When playoffs started and you had all those games going on, that was fun. I enjoyed it, them expanding it. I mean, you can't obviously have too many. You don't want to but I think having more teams in the playoffs that's another incentivizing competition to get that playoff pay or playoff ticket revenue. For me as a fan, like, I had a lot of fun listening to that season with the Cubs and the Sox both making it and trying to catch the games. I don't know if they played the same day or it was every other day, but I was listening to baseball a lot during that first round.
I would even the playing game with the wild card thing. At first, I was against it, but at this point, like, if you want to even do you have one game loser go home for a tie at the end of the season for like a game 163. If you wanted to do that with two teams and then one of those two teams goes on to play the second wild card. I mean, if you want to add more teams to technically say they all have a chance at this point, I don't care. Like, it would be great to have it the way it always was. But I mean, up until 95 or 96, when they introduced the wild card, you had 4 teams from each league make the playoffs, and that was it. Like, I mean, so even what we're used to isn't even necessarily that normal. You know what I mean? It's at some point things might have to change. It's just a matter of the crotchety old guys that have been running Major League Baseball for so many decades, are they going to be on board with that? Which my guess would be no.
So what side was Crawley on again? He was on keeping the way it is.
Yeah. So keep it the way it is. It's not broken. Even
if I agree with him, I'm going to take the other side of it. Honestly, no, I'm with you. I like. I enjoyed the expanded playoffs, and I think what MLB wanted to do 14, and then the league would only be comfortable up to 12. I would love more postseason teams, and of course, there's the counter argument that's saying, well, some of those later teams, but if you're getting like 8th, 10th place, they're not going to spend as much, on good players. Or just the teams will know they can kind of cheap fuck it away into the postseason a little bit. I was like, well, if you got like shitty ownership like Jerry Reinsdorf, maybe he's going to do it like that. But I would hope most other owners would want to spend, Steve Cohen, maybe not that much, but at least spend to kind of secure that spot. Because, the postseason can be, quote unquote crapshoot here and there. But hey, I'm all for the wild card being a 3-game series or whatever it was again. I enjoyed all of it. I'm right with you right there.
And I know some people will say like, oh, well then that diminishes, playing the 162 games. Well, maybe the baseball season is too long to begin with. Maybe go back to like 150.
See, that would be a good trade-off for me. Like I've always been against reducing to like 154. I've always like 162, but if you give me expanded playoffs, I think that's a good trade-off, and that's what this negotiation is going to be. It's both sides. It's
have to
both
compromise.
Sides have their cake. They want to have their cake and eat it too. But there's got to be a trade. There's got to be a trade-off for these negotiations right here. And Crawley, really quick. I don't know why I do it. Like when the Cubs signed Stroman, I fully expected so many complaints from Cubs Twitter, and I'm proud of Cubs Twitter, at least from what you said, Vinny, on them being happy, because you should be, and we'll get to that later. But I look at this guy's, Twitter for whatever reason, and I'm not calling myself like a Sean Connery or anything. I know I don't look like him, but I saw Crawley's picture with Javi Baez. It was like one of the worst pictures taken of a dude I've ever seen. I'm just like, what kind of smile is that, dude? I know I'm being picky right here, and I know that's like a little bit of an attack, but it's like, oh, dude, just no. I have to leave this page right here. But he was happy with Stroman, as he should, because I don't know what to expect out of him. But no, not Jesus. That's not my type of dude, really. So I'll say that.
Oh,
what else?
We got.
I want to ask you guys really quick. I know we got a lot to get to. What do you guys? Speaking of Vinny, you touched on, kind of MLB picking and choosing what other leagues do well. What do you guys think about a draft lottery, kind of coinciding with the league minimum team expenditure cap? I know they said around 100,000 or whatever, to kind of avoid teams tanking. What do you think about entering a draft lottery like the NBA? Does that do anything for you? Me personally, the MLB draft is completely unexciting to me unless there's like a Bryce Harper or Steven Strasburg. I mean, how long ago was Adley Rutschman drafted? And we still haven't seen his ass yet.
Who?
So yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's fine if you want to stop tanking. That might be a good strategy, but I just don't know if that does, because MLB draft doesn't produce the names like the NFL or the NBA.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion. I wouldn't care either way, but I don't know if you guys.
I feel like it doesn't stop the NBA from tanking.
That's a good point too. Yeah, it still hasn't.
They still tank. So
that would be. I wonder if that'd be that'd be part of like a league minimum like cap. The minimum. I know we touched on the minimum dollar amount you can spend. I wonder if that would be a 2-part thing. I don't know, but I even think instituting. I know they brought up $100 million minimum team, AAV salary that you spend. I even think that would become insignificant in a few years. I mean, just look at Max Scherzer's contract with $43 million.
It's always going to be going up
easily. So yeah, lot going on right here.
Yeah, you got that right.
Well, I just want to touch on that. Who was the contract that was up that you had said earlier, or they never signed the contract? You had mentioned that in the.
Was that? Okay. I was going to say.
Was that Nick Martinez?
Yeah, but I was going to say that Justin Verlander was.
Yes, thing. That one.
I added that later when we cover the MLB, but yeah, that's the exact same situation.
Hopefully, they don't change the salary too much there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, we're not going to be able to offer you exactly what we said.
Yeah. Guys, I know you want to get to the Cubs, so I'm gonna burst through the White Sox here really quick because there is pretty much no news right here. Kendall Graveman's signing is official. Yay. I wrote a note here. What jersey number will he choose? He's worn 31 and 49 his whole career. I think he's gonna. 31 and 49. Did I say 39 or 49?
Said 31 and 49.
Okay, so I think, drum roll, he is going to choose jersey number 36.
Okay.
That's all I have on that. Because
he's going to be 40.
He's going to be 40?
Right in the middle. Right in the middle. 31 and 49.
All right. There you go. 40. There's a good, going to take Ronaldo Lopez's number. All right. Interesting. That is about all the news I have on Kendall Graveman, because if the White Sox trade Craig Kimbrell, essentially that move gets you nowhere, because you just put a different guy in for a guy you traded away. And the legend of Leury Garcia continues. He is back on a 3-year, $16.5 million deal, $5.5 million each season through 22 and 24. Sox fans were so upset about this signing, and I know why, and you need to stop, because yes, I know it's not the Marcus Semien thing. I know it's not the Chris Taylor signing or whatever else. I know it's not, one of the big name free agents that the White Sox did not get in. But Garcia, are you really surprised that he's been re-signed? I mean, they're not really paying him anything, $5.5 million a year. The guy's been on the White Sox forever, and he plays every position of that there is on the baseball field.
That is your Chris Taylor sign.
That is our Chris Taylor.
Yeah, that's it right there.
He just can't hit as well, but I mean, that's our guy right there. That's a Tony. That's got to be a Tony La Russa favorite.
I just picture him like it's free agency signing day, and he's just kind of like walking around Jerry Reinsdorf and the office being like, So how you guys doing?
Right,
yeah, like
he said that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He said, I'm only really talking to the White Sox.
Yeah.
And so White Sox fans are just like, oh, Leury Garcia. He started so many games last year. We're just going to start him again. Like, he started so many games. That wasn't by design. It was like, yeah, he appeared in 65 games in the outfield, 36 at second base, 19 at shortstop, and 11 at third base. Well, that's all because motherfuckers were hurt. And he stepped up and played pretty decently for you. He went 267, 335, and 376 last year. No power, but 2.1 WAR. There you go. If you like WAR, there it is in 126 games and 474 plate appearances. So I don't know what they're doing with second base. It looks like a trade at this point. Whether Kimbrel's a part, I have no idea what the Kimbrel deal is going to be. I can't even imagine what kind of
should be interesting
shit we're going to get in return. I don't see a second baseman as part of that unless we give away like 3 other better players along with Kimbrel as part of it, but we'll see where it goes there. So Sox fans, just chill out. It's fine. Stop being dickheads. And even if I wanted him back, I can't have him back because Cesar Hernandez signed a 1-year, $4 million deal with Washington plus $1 million in incentives. I know there was a point I wanted him back, but he's gone. So whatever. They declined a $6 million option. He's gone. And that is the White Sox section for tonight.
Man, Greg, you are bringing it tonight. I am loving the.
I love guys
the passion.
For some people, like the off season is greater than the regular season.
I would agree with that.
Like everyone loves opening day, and then like here's opening day at guaranteed rate US Cellular. Day one, I mean, at least the history of it. Opening day packed. Second day goes
empty.
Down. Like, we're opening day, it's here. And then the second game happens. I'm like, oh, yeah, we don't care anymore. So the offseason, though, I mean, besides this season, because we're now locked out and everything. But, I mean, these last couple days, really, it just was nothing like we've ever seen before. Mm-hmm. And I was here for all of it. So, I mean, I just had so much fun. I love free agent signings. I love trades. I love the offseason. So, I mean, I really love it, too, when my team's in it. They didn't really do much before the lockout, but hopefully we'll see what happens by the start of spring training in August or so. So
right.
At least at this point. So, but you guys the Cubs have been much more active in the free agent market, and they've been doing awesome things. So I will turn it over to the Cubs fans.
Yeah, I mean, first off, there's those couple minor league free agents, Locke St. John and Narciso Crook.
I feel like I got that name backwards. Locke St. John.
Yeah, right.
John St. Locke.
Yeah. I just keep thinking of the guy from Lost when I hear John Locke. Yeah. And then Harold Ramirez, not Hanley, from Cleveland. All not really guys I've ever heard of. So hey. Props for signing people, I guess. I don't know. And then the big news, though, was that they finally got their guy. They got Marcus Stroman to be the ace of the rotation, I guess. Would you call him the ace?
Yep,
I would. Okay. Yep.
So he's 30, 3-year, $71 million deal, which I really like the 3-year term because if things go sideways, or it doesn't pan out, it's not the most difficult contract to move. $25 million for the first 2 years, $21 million for the third year, and then a player option that can increase by $2 million if he gets 160 innings in 2022 and another $2 million in 2023. So it maxes out at $75 million. Greg, you talked to Jack Lugo, current Mets fan. Stroman was a former Met himself. Says he's consistent and can eat innings when he needed. This is a good deal for Stroman. I'm sure he'll do well with the Cubs. He did have a reputation for being a bit block happy when it came to Mets fans on Twitter. Jack never had an issue with him, and he doesn't shy away from responding to fans, though, that's for sure. So, I mean, Chicago, I think the Chicago media will like him if he could handle the New York media. The Chicago media is not going to be that bad compared to New York. So, I'm excited. I mean, I wanted them to at least get one big name pitcher, and they got one. So
yes,
the thing that worried me a little bit, and Vinny, I don't know how you felt about this, but everything I kept reading on Twitter was from Jed Hoyer saying, well, all these signings were taking place. We realized we had to change our plan of action. So that's why we went after Marcus Stroman. So what was their initial plan? That's my question.
They were going to wait. They were going to wait till the new CBA. I mean, he said that too.
Did he? Okay.
He said that earlier that they didn't know what their plan fully was because they don't know what the CBA is going to bring. So essentially that was saying that they were going to sit around and just wait until all this happened. And hats off to Jed for
making a move, at least
getting off his butt and, making a move and not waiting, because Stroman could have went somewhere else. There wouldn't have been anybody left.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't know.
for pitching, I mean, there's still Rodon out there who I hope the Cubs sign.
That, yeah.
He would be a nice, hard thrower in that lineup, which they still need, because Stroman's not a hard thrower.
No.
Power lefty, in the rotation would be great for them.
Yes. Which they definitely need. But yeah, I mean, hats off to Jed for pivoting and making move. I don't know if you guys saw, but the Cubs are they're in the finals to get Correa. It was reported by Mike Rodriguez from Univision. Correa supposedly reached out also to Javi Baez about playing in Chicago. It's down to Chicago and the Yankees, supposedly, for Correa. So they were, that was reported today. I saw that on Twitter. And I know yesterday it was reported that the Cubs were in talks with Correa's camp as well. So they're spending. They're doing what they said that they were going to do. I'm interested on that Correa one.
Yeah,
I didn't think they would get the number one field player in free agency. So that would be shocking. I thought they would definitely try to get a better deal and not pay. But hey, they're surprising me.
Yeah. No, I saw another report that they were in talks with Rizzo too, and I'm like, no, that ship has sailed. I will always appreciate what he's done. We're done. I don't.
What about on something like really, like if you can get him really cheap, friendly? Or is it just not? Yeah, just out of the question.
I don't know. I don't.
It's not. I mean, now it depends on what the new CBA brings.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess now. It doesn't know.
Players, they're Bryant, Rizzo, Schwarber,
none
of them signed. They're all out there to get.
Bias,
and so it depends. They said that Schwarber most likely didn't sign because he's waiting to confirm that the DH is going to the NL.
Yeah,
that should drive up his price if that happens. So but it was interesting that Bryant didn't sign anywhere. I didn't really hear anything.
I heard a little bit about the Mariners with Bryant, but that was about it.
And then I think I also saw someone reported something about the Rockies too.
I was going to say Colorado.
Yeah, someone said Colorado because of his the location to Las Vegas. Someone else reported that the distance between Chicago and Atlanta is the same distance between Coors Field and Las Vegas or something like that.
Nice.
Someone should have opened up. I forgot who tweeted that out about the location, but they should have. Maybe it was John Heyman or somebody, but they probably should have looked at Google Maps before they tweeted that.
Before they tweet that one out,
Just a quick check, just a quick Chicago to Atlanta, Vegas to Coors,
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, so between Stroman and then they went out and signed Yan Gomez to be the backup catcher, maybe a DH if the DH comes to the National League. I don't know.
It's actually Gomes.
Gomes, I'm sorry. Thank you, Yan Gomes.
Yeah.
That's right. He also has a third-year option. He played pretty well in Washington and Oakland last year. He's been a Silver Slugger. He's been an All-Star. He won the World Series with the Nationals. 10th in stolen bases allowed, 3rd in range factor per 9 innings as a catcher out of 179 eligible catchers of all time. 1st in range factor / games as a catcher out of 371 eligible catchers. So, I mean, he's a good catcher. Do you think this maybe starts talks with Contreras, maybe moving him if the Cubs are out at the end in the middle of the season?
No.
I honestly have no idea.
I have no idea what's going on with this signing.
It shouldn't. I have no idea either, but it shouldn't. This is a great backup signing.
Yes.
This to me kind of reminds me of when they had Miguel Montero in the lineup. That's kind of just references, or I have flashbacks of that when they had him. And no, I think they should look to re-sign Wilson. I know people complain, he's not that good at framing. Framing is the dumbest statistic.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
I agree.
It is the stupidest thing. How well can you fool the umpire? And by the way, that should be going away when we get robot umpires.
Exactly
God,
my point.
Please.
Screw
dumb.
the people that are like, oh, he can't frame. Well, you know what? Who cares? He can catch the ball as long as he's not letting balls go past him.
Don't pass balls. Yeah.
He's got a cannon for an arm to throw out the runner going from first to second. So that's what's important. And then if you look at his offense statistics, just looking at rankings, I just pulled the rankings for 2021 and 2019 just to show how good he is. Last year he had a bad season. And I looked at both NL and AL for catchers with at least 130 bats, looking at, considered rookies. And 2021 was a down year for him. He was 9th in RBIs of catchers, 7th in home runs, 27th in average, 12th in on-base percentage, 14th in slugging, and 10th in OPS.
Of all catchers?
Of all catchers,
really,
with at least 130 plate appearances. Yes.
Oh man.
So and then 2019, he was 8 in RBIs, 5th in home runs, 9th in average, 3rd in on base percentage, 4th in slugging, and 3rd in OPS.
Okay.
So he's a top catcher.
Yeah, he is.
You don't want to let that go and then be struggling and trying to find a good catcher when you already have one. Especially when you're going to be competing, this isn't a rebuild. So you got to sign him. You got to keep him because I again, we don't know what Miguel Amaya is. He's got Tommy John surgery right now. So you don't know what he's going to be. I think his defense is pretty good. If I remember his his scouting report, his defense is good. His offense needs some work, as he's progressing. But yeah, you don't know what he is. You know what Wilson is. Sign him, keep him long term. Especially if the DH is coming to the NL, because then you can rest him some more.
Yeah,
and you got a good backup in Yan Gomes. So yeah, look to get that deal done. And they tendered a contract to him, and people are pounding the drum during this, before the CBA ended. Oh, you got to extend him now. You don't have to. You tendered him a contract. You wait till the CBA is done. Then you do your negotiations. And when you know what the future is going to hold, you already have him signed. So I want him to re-sign him, but I wasn't expecting him to get a deal done. And they, was it Bleacher Nation reported that the talks had stopped, between them anyways, and I'm guessing the reason that they stopped was because they could tender him. They have him. Yeah, they have him locked up for the 2022 season, and then hopefully his camp doesn't shut down negotiations completely like Rizzo's camp did when the season. They can get that done when the new CBA is signed. So
makes sense.
Yep.
Can I touch on something really quick you said before, Vinny? You said if DH comes to the NL. I think that because initially when I saw the and I hope it does, by the way, I hope it becomes universal. Yeah. When I saw the Yan Gomes deal, I saw the $1 million in performance bonuses, but that equated to games started. So I was like, for a 2-year deal, I'm like, because when I saw that, I'm like, that screamed trade to me. For Wilson Contreras, which I'm like, why? But then when I figured, it was like, well, Wilson plays left. If they get universal DH, they can play a little bit of first too. Because I agree, Yan Gomes to me is the ideal backup catcher, especially if you've established that you're signing Marcus Stroman. You need a backup. I mean, you haven't had one in God knows, probably since like Rossi or whatever. So I mean, that is I really like that signing, but I think Yan Gomes can play a little first. I think even play a little bit of third, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully that he sees some of that in there where Wilson can get some decent rest too as well. And Yan Gomes can easily fill in that backup catcher role. And he's good. He's probably one of the better backups you can have,
for sure. Yeah.
league. And a veteran catcher. I mean, I'll always say that is great for your pitching staff. So, I mean, just working with the guys been around, been with a lot of postseason teams too. So, I mean, just a fantastic, kind of middle of the road, lower signing for the Cubs, in my opinion. And thank you. I'm going to say something here. The people who talk baseball and people who report on baseball, they need to catch up with us and start realizing that pitch framing is bullshit. And if robot umpires come, then we can just erase the whole argument from the face of the earth.
Yes.
But try and learn about catching a little bit and about receiving pitches and positioning your body. And you realize framing, like you said, Vinny, is just your ability to fool someone. It's so hit or miss. And now we're starting to quantify it. Well, you're quantifying a bunch of crap. So get out of here with your pitch framing bullshit. I will not hear an argument for why it is a decent track. That I think it is totally.
Greg is calling people out right now. He wants. It is. If you think pitch framing is decent, please tell me your understanding of catching and why it can be properly quantified. Please send me that argument, and it will be shut down by me almost instantly. So there you go. Challenge accepted.
Do you guys know how many catchers the Cubs had on their roster that played in games last year that weren't named Wilson Contreras?
Was it like 6 or 7, maybe?
Well, I can only think of 2. I don't know.
6?
Oh, God.
6 other catchers. So, yes, Yan Gomes was a necessity to have a good
okay, so that makes sense then,
So they had Robinson Chirinos. They had Austin Romine. They had the P.J. Higgins guy, right, who they just re-signed.
Nope.
Or no. Okay. I know he got like a minor league deal. I don't know.
He did get a minor league deal, but he was a utility. So maybe he did play back there. I'm looking at Baseball Reference.
Oh, okay.
They have him down as utility. So maybe he did.
I thought he was a catcher, but
he might've played some catcher, but so they also had Tony Walters, a guy that got,
right.
Jose Lobaton.
Lobaton,
Lobaton.
He was
Eric Castillo and Tyler Payne, all recorded as catchers. And I've
never heard of the last 2 guys.
It's a shame I can't watch the
Taylor Gushu. Taylor Gushu, I think, also caught for him too. They have him down as a utility, but I think I remember he caught at least a game.
Oh man!
So they had eight catchers, 8 different catchers besides Wilson Contreras. So yes, they needed a backup catcher. So this signing definitely does not scream trade.
No,
it screams they needed a backup catcher.
That's true.
That's true, without a doubt. Yeah, and they got a good one. They got
I mean, that's definitely a positive. Real quick, Clint Frazier was also signed 1 year, base salary of $1.5 million. He got DFA'd by the Yankees a little while ago. Had a bunch of injuries and obviously just not playing well. So we'll see what the Cubs can do with him. Let's see. Michael Hermosillo also signed a 1 year, $600,000 major league contract. And then the other big former Cub news is that Javi Baez is going to Motown. He's going to be a Detroit Tiger for 6 years, $140 million, but he can opt out after the second season, which is a very interesting, that's a quick hook, right? Like maybe if they're not, are they trying to make a comeback and be good again? Is that kind of
where they are?
Okay.
Yeah, they are. They're trying to bump up. Yeah, there's an opportunity because it's really only the White Sox in this division. So the Detroit's on the rise right here while everyone else is falling down. So
didn't they finish second last year?
They did. Yeah. They're still below 500, but they were the second place team, I believe.
Really tough division.
Yeah. It was a cakewalk for the White Sox. Speaking of cheap owners, but what do you guys, what did you 6 years 140? That was obviously north of what I had predicted. I think I had 6 years like 119, 120. It's a nice little
it's not bad.
Over 20 million a year.
Maybe a little over.
It's not surprising, I would say. I mean, I remember when it was like over 200 million. Or even in like Francisco Lindor territory, we knew that wasn't going to happen. No. But
good for him.
I thought he was going to get 25 per year. So I was shocked. Yeah, okay. I thought that was probably. I was thinking he probably wasn't worth more than 25 per year, but I was thinking that maybe a team would overpay and do somewhere between 25 and 30. Cub fans were way off on this one. They all thought he was going to get over 30 per year. There was somebody that tweeted out, "Oh, what do you guys think Javi's going to get?"
Yeah.
And everybody was. They had a average of at least 30. It was like 32, 34 people were
like Corey
saying
Seager
per
money.
year. Yeah, that was ridiculous. And it's like, where are you getting this money from? He's not that good.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I can't see him taking. Well, I don't know if he's going to have a quote unquote turnaround, at least offensively. And Comerica's hard to hit, you know, hitting that ballpark. But I like I said, I don't know. But at least at this point, it's like I can't see him taking that opt-out. I see him. Like Cape, he is taking that all the way to the bank, you know, for the next 6 years. So
without a doubt, yeah.
I mean, the initial reaction was Carlos Correa reuniting with AJ Hinch. Tigers are spending big, blah blah blah. But no, they kind of sneak in here with Javi and take a cheaper deal. It's a pretty nice deal for both sides, in my opinion. So
I agree.
Yeah, it should be good to see what they can do with him in Detroit. But yeah. All right. What do you guys want to do? It's already 11. Do you guys want to do the revisiting of the contracts from the other?
Well, I got one last question for you.
Go ahead.
Speaking of first baseman, Dan Vogelbach was non-tendered by the Milwaukee. Is it time for the big bad Daniel Vogelbach reunion with the Cubs to play first base?
I'd take him as a DH.
You're like, Vinny's like, I don't know what this question is supposed to mean right now.
Yeah. Can we just sign and trade him again for a super bullpen piece?
Was it Mike Montgomery, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. They can then get in trouble in Japan for throwing the rosin bag. Yep, right. Was that what it was?
Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can trade and get him back from Japan. Some Dan Vogelbach.
I am on the Dan Vogelbach train. I'm gonna be watching his every move, which is really. I mean,
maybe the Sox will sign him.
He can still he's not on a 40-man roster, so he can technically get a minor league deal. Even with the CBA shutdown right now. So he could if he's offered a minor league deal, he could be on a team. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. So that's all I have on that. But
all right. So I don't know. Do you guys want to revisit these other contracts, or do you want to save that for next week and jump to the whatever topic since it's already 11? It's up to you guys.
We can jump to whatever. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, we can jump to whatever.
Okay. All right. We'll next week we'll revisit a little bit about Wander Franco, Steven Matz. We'll talk a little bit about Jose Quintana, and then we'll also jump in about some more awards Shohei Ohtani won. So write that down for next week. If you're curious, we will touch about that. But let's go to whatever. We are going to talk about our top 5 PS1 games of all time.
Before we start whatever, do you guys want to go over famous 34s? We forgot to do that.
Yeah. Kerry Wood and Walter Payton. That's the only two I could come up with.
God, Justin, come on.
For the Cubs, I also have John Lester.
Yeah. Lester. See, I'm not good with numbers. I'm not good.
I'm not either, Justin.
That's all I have for the Cubs, to be perfectly honest. Do you have any more for the Cubs?
I got 3 more.
Okay.
Glenn Allen Hill.
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay, that had to be early on because he wore 6 when he was regular with the Cubs. That'd be his rookie year or his first year or something. Okay.
Ray Burris from 73 to 79.
Okay.
And Frank Thomas.
Oh,
a different Frank Thomas?
Yes, 1966 Frank Thomas.
I was like, am I missing something here?
Yeah, I was waiting for a Greg.
I'm like, whoa.
1966 Frank Thomas. He is white as well. So, yeah, the Bizarro Frank Thomas.
Bizarro Frank Thomas.
Yes,
worth one digit less than Frank Thomas White Sox 35.
Yes,
so that
right?
That is scarily close. I don't know. Ooh, that's
really close.
So, for the White Sox, I had obviously Michael Kopech. Now, Freddie Garcia, the World Series season. In a couple years, Gavin Floyd for like 20 years.
Oh yeah.
Fat Albers wore it.
Yes.
And 1 year lefty specialist Anthony Swazak wore it.
Yep.
Before that,
I got one that ties into a current Cub.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what you got.
Atlee Hammaker. Hammaker.
Hammaker.
He is the father-in-law to Jan Gomes.
Oh, that's
how
kind of
about
cool.
that?
Yeah,
Wow.
I saw that one. I was like, I got to put that one on there.
That's
That
pretty
I
cool.
have no
neat.
idea who Atlee Hammaker is,
I've
but
never Hammaker. I love it.
That's
Like
awesome.
me. That's like me on Christmas. You know, the ham maker. So that's all the wife wants for Christmas. So, nice.
boy.
For the Bears, obviously Walter Payton.
Walter Payton. Did I ever tell you guys I met his son? I met Jared Payton at
Yes,
school.
you did?
At work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super nice
That's
guy.
pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got a picture with him somewhere. He came, he did like a motivational speech for our middle schoolers. Very nice guy. I talked to him about the Miami Hurricanes. He was a nice guy. So
nice.
Yeah.
I also have one more for the Bears from 62 to 66. Joe Marconi for the old timers.
All right. There we go.
nice.
Hawks or
Awesome.
Bulls?
Hawks.
Yep, I got a couple.
I think Hasek before they traded
Yep.
him was 34.
His rookie year.
His rookie year. Okay. That's the only one I could think of.
Carl Soderberg. Kevin Lankinen.
Kevin Lankinen, current backup. Yep.
Tony Horacek.
No, I don't know who that is.
Okay. And Jim Dowd.
Jim Dowd. Yes.
Jim Dowd,
He was,
John Dowd's brother.
John Dowd, a famous 51 for the
of
Giants.
MVP 2004 baseball for PS2.
2005.
Yeah,
Or was it
2005, that's right.
04?
He was in 04
Was he
too, yeah.
04?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old.
I
John Dowd.
would always edit him to be back to Barry Bonds.
big
So,
lumberjack.
yeah.
Did
Ginger lumberjack.
guys got any Bulls that come to mind?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Oh no.
There's an old one you guys should get from the Bulls championship teams.
It wasn't Luke Longley, was it?
Nope.
He was
No,
13.
He was a big guy.
He was
He was
okay.
white.
Bill Wennington.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
I
there
also
was
have a couple.
Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
more?
There's one.
I got
that's
nothing
coming-
else.
There's one that, as soon as you say it, I'm gonna remember it. But go ahead.
Wendell Carter, Mike
Okay.
Dunleavy.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the
yeah.
one. Mike
Okay.
Dunleavy. Yep.
Antonio Davis and Stacey King and Charles Oakley.
Oh, okay.
Stacey King. You know,
There's some
I
significant 34s.
I thought it was very
Yeah.
funny I read the Jordan rules last year. I got it for Christmas. I think it was Sam Smith wrote it. Nobody on that Bulls team liked Stacey King. No one
Oh,
liked
really?
him. Now I think it's so funny that he's one of the broadcasters for the organization. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
And they still don't like him.
they still don't like it.
Nice.
So all right, let's get to the whatever before it's
All
too
right.
late. Top 5 PS1 games. All three of us, all born in the 80s, right? You guys were all born in the 80s, right?
89.
89,
Okay,
right there
oh,
at the
man.
end. Just made
But
the
we
cut.
and we hit our glory days in the 90s when the PS1 was at the top of the charts with the N64. So we figured, what the heck, Vinny, was this your idea? Was this your topic? Or is it Greg's
I think
topic?
so.
Okay.
No, I think
Vinny-
it was-
Vinny
We
came up
both
with
said
it?
we were going to. Yeah, I said
I was going to
thinking it.
suggest it. Yeah, I was like, I think
Great
we
minds
haven't
think
done video
alike.
games in a while.
I oh god, I had so much fun with my PS1. I had the Game Shark that you could put in the cheats to kind of like completely
geez.
change all the stuff and kind of
Yep.
do a little coding there. It was a lot of fun. So
Mhm.
all right, let's
Justin,
start.
where'd you get your PS1 from? Didn't you say that?
I got it Christmas of 96.
Nice.
Look at that.
I still remember getting ours at, what was it? I think it was KB Toys in Freeport. If you guys
Yeah,
been to
KB
the Cub
Toys.
Foods in Freeport, it was
Yes.
right next to the Cub Foods.
Oh, okay.
No
Oh,
longer
man.
there, but the Cub
I
I
Foods
say
is
we
still
just
there.
drove by it. It was not there. Yes, I got I lost the booklet for it, but MLB Pennant Race was my first game I ever got. My
Nice.
parents
Look
bought it
at
for
that.
me. That was the start of, well, it's MLB The Show now, but this was the 1995
Yep.
PS
Yep.
Sony version of baseball.
Yes,
and then
it
my
was.
sister got Crash Bandicoot, which I played just as much. So
Yep.
Nice.
there you go. All right, let's start. Oh, go ahead, Vinny.
I was going to say, Justin, you actually have one of the original games that, or two of the original games that we got with the PlayStation at KB Toys. It's Poi Poi and Need for Speed V Rally.
Yes, I have them. Somehow
Nice.
they ended up at my house. I don't know why I have them.
I don't have a PlayStation anymore.
Okay, that's it. That's it. So, well, anytime you want to come over and play Poi Poi or V Rally, you are welcome to it, Vinny.
I will be there.
All right. Well, you know what, Vinny? This was your topic, and you are a PS1 aficionado as well. Let's start with Vinny. Vinny, what's your top 5 PS1 games of all time?
Number 5 is actually Need for Speed V Rally.
There you
This
go.
game was a lot of fun. It was I didn't like it at first because if you do the kind of like the career mode, it's arcade style. So you have your timed. So when I first started playing the PlayStation, I was awful at it, and I could barely get past a lap without running out of time. But the game was a lot of fun. They were like a championship series where you race different tracks and try to get points. So it wasn't timed, but the main thing was timed. That was kind of where you would unlock cars and new race courses. But that was a lot of fun. Again, one of the first games that I ever played for PlayStation. So yeah, Need for Speed V Rally.
Did V Rally have the cops in it too, or no?
Nope, okay? No cops.
So here's, I don't know if you're watching the YouTube version, This is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, Need for Speed 3. This was on one of my honorable mentions, but this was the one that had the cops in it. I remember seeing commercials for this and being like, oh my God, you can race against the cops and run from the cops. That's amazing.
Justin, a guy like you? No,
I break the law in video games, right? But
that's how he gets it all out. He gets it out in video games. So.
But I remember it came out in like 97 or 98. I'm not going to waste time looking at this, but anyway, I think it came out in 1998. It says. But I remember
Can I ask you really quick, Justin? Was this the inspiration to put the spoiler on your high school?
No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen until
was that the inspiration though? I mean,
no.
Started stemming from
no.
Okay.
No, but I remember we went.
I think it did.
We went to Hollywood Video because we'd always go there to rent games, and I remember I had like 3 singles and like 95 cents. And I thought I counted it all. So my dad took me up there during halftime of one of the 98 Bulls games. Got there. No, they finally had it. It was never in stock because everybody was renting it. It was a big deal. And I got it, went up there, and they're like, "Oh, you're about 7 cents short." And I'm like, "Oh no." They're like, "Oh, it's a slow night. Everyone's watching the Bulls game. Go ahead, you can take it."
Look at that.
Nice.
I don't know why my dad
that's why they went out of business.
I don't know why my dad just didn't be like, "Here's a dime, you're good, kid." But he didn't have it. I don't know, but yeah. So
Scott McElwee just standing there.
He's like,
"Let's go, kid."
I'd give you a nickel, but 7 cents? No, not gonna happen. Sorry,
you gotta earn it.
Didn't mean to cut you off, Greg. What's your number 5?
No, you're all good. Well, I'm going to qualify myself. You guys are the PS1 aficionados. I didn't get mine till later in life.
Right.
I was the N64 kid, so I was playing PS1 at my friend's house and stuff like that. So there's a lot of how my list is going to go up. But I did get one eventually. And I played a lot of PS1 games on my PS2 for a good portion right there too. But we'll go with number 5 right here. And you know me, I can't help myself.
Oh, there it is.
So if I can make it about Bond, I'll make it about Bond. There you go. Tomorrow Never Dies right over there. I absolutely love this game. I was so excited for when it came out. And if you compare it to GoldenEye, it is absolute shit. It might have been one of my first third-person shooter games. I'm like, what the hell is this? Why can I see, all of him? Where's the little PP7? Like I'm like, I don't know how I felt, but got the hang of it. It's not that good of a game. It's pretty generic, with a little bit of Bond tropes here and there. But it was based on one of my first Bond movie, and after getting used to the controls of the PlayStation and spending a little more time with it, it's grown to be one of my kind of like honorary favorites that I had to include on the list because it was one of the first that I got to play. And part of the reason I went over to PlayStation because this was one of the games based on the movies that wasn't available on the Nintendo 64.
That's right.
This was a PlayStation exclusive, if you can believe it.
I remember I rented that too, and I had no clue what Bond. I mean, I knew what Bond was, but I had never seen the movie. But I remember playing that and really liking that one. Because I didn't have an N64 until later.
I mean, if you're pairing it to GoldenEye, I mean, obviously it's rude, but I mean, if you take it for what it is, I mean, at the time, I'm like, it's pretty
not
solid.
Not
pretty
bad.
solid. There was a little bit of third person driving in it too.
That's right.
So and a little bit of flying. So it kind of had the flavor of everything for a little bit. So there you go.
Good call.
Nice.
All right, my number 5, one of my favorite games. I still replay this one every once in a while. I remember I got a demo disc in the mail from like Toys R Us, and I played it. I'm like, this is incredible. And I bought it shortly thereafter. That is the third-person shooter Siphon Filter. You guys ever play Siphon Filter?
No, but
No?
I've talked about it.
Vaguely
before.
remember
It's
it.
so good. So yeah, it's you play this guy Gabriel Logan. He's I can't remember what he is. He's a part of like some like special counter-terrorist group. The whole thing is that some virus is being produced, but it can be biologically engineered to target certain groups of people. So only certain groups are being infected. And it's him. He's one part, I believe you're in Washington, D.C., and then you go over to Russia, and then you're in the subway tunnels in another city. Really good game, really good story. They made 3 of them on PS1. The second one's really good. The PS2 one wasn't very good. And then there was a couple for PSP that I never played. And then the series died. That was the end of it. So the company that made these games went on to make Days Gone, Greg.
Oh, really?
So there are some Easter eggs for Siphon Filter in Days Gone. You can get a taser as a weapon because that's one of the weapons in Siphon Filter. You just hook the taser to somebody.
Interesting.
You just hold the button down until they burst into flames. So I've never seen a taser do that, but apparently in Siphon Filter it does.
In Siphon Filter it does. There you go.
It's a good game. It's a really, really good game. One of my favorites. Third person shooter. So
good
I liked
call.
it. Yeah.
Good call.
Nice.
All right, Vinny, what about you?
Number 4 for me, Crash Team Racing.
Oh.
I didn't own this game. Someone else owned it, and I remember absolutely loving it. Yes, that game.
One of my honorable mentions. That's why I got it right here.
I think I love that game. I like I said, I didn't own it, so I'm going off of memory here, which wasn't as good because I didn't play it nearly as enough as the other games on my list. But that game was probably better than Mario Kart, should I say?
I would agree with that. Mario Kart 64,
that was really fun. I just remember the story too.
Story mode was awesome.
Yeah, it was like, but you would like go and you were like on a track driving to different races, right? Was that it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So yeah, that was number 4 for me, Crash Team Racing.
Yeah, I remember I had one of the PlayStation magazines. I had like the official PlayStation magazine, and they showed you how to unlock all the secret characters. And it was like you had to race through the race a second time and collect, like, I think the letters were CTR for the game. And you collected those and then also come in first and you would unlock more characters. And I did that for a whole summer. Like I was obsessed with that game. So
I got a question for you. You said PlayStation Magazine.
Yeah.
Did you ever steal any info out of those things, like from Walgreens or anything?
No, Greg, that's horrible.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing Greg did.
I would do that.
Won't tell you what I did.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean steal info out of them? What is that?
You just like read it and then put it back and then.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I would.
I wrote it on my arm.
Oh, I thought you like were literally shoplifting magazines.
Well, I did that too, but I was doing that with other things. But no, there were codes for. God, I did it all the way up until I played GoldenEye Rogue Agent. And there was a terrible game, and I was much older to obviously know better. But yeah, I wrote that. I mean, when you said that, I'm like, yeah, I was writing down codes on my arm.
I remember
then put the magazine back.
For one of my birthday presents, I got my parents subscribed me to it, and it was the one that came with the demo disc every month. So you would get like 7 to 8.
Nice.
You get a demo disc with like 7 to 8 games, and like
demo discs.
When I was cleaning out the crawl space the other day in the basement, I found all the old demo discs. So I need to go through and see how shitty some of those games are. But yeah.
Glad you kept them though.
I still got them. I don't know why. What am I going to do with them? But
because
Greg,
they're amazing.
They're amazing. Yeah. There's probably like 100 of them. All right, Greg, what's your number 4?
This franchise for me used to be like the king of racing, and I think all you guys agree with me now that it's not what it used to be.
Okay,
but I mean, this racing game was ahead of its time. I was so into racing. I loved like a lot of the NASCAR games and everything. But then when I played Gran Turismo 2, I was like, oh man, you can do a lot more in this game whatsoever. I mean, just the whole library of vehicles that you could choose from, and the customization, pretty much, create any vehicle with any, engine power that you want or anything. And just the selection of courses, all this, that, and the other. It was really a racing simulator that was left to your imagination, and now it's been so restricted with online, with the evolution of online gameplay. I feel like it's lost its spirit a little bit, but still a huge fan of the series. But some of those early GT games were incredible for me.
See, I totally missed the boat on any of the PS1 games. I got really into GT Gran Turismo 3 on PS2.
Yeah, which was the PS2 first release.
And then the other one I probably played the most was the one for PS4, which is that Gran Turismo Sport.
Oh,
which,
okay.
Started off as online only, and then I guess they added in a bunch of free of the single player stuff. And I've only played the single player, but I put like 30 hours into that game. It's really, really good. You can get it for like $10 now too, Greg.
You can, Gran Turismo 5 was exclusive for the PS3 that was delayed, and that was kind of the last game where they kind of had caps on a lot of the before they started putting caps on some of the licenses you can earn, some of the customizations and classifications you can do with certain cars. That
game, unlike what game were we talking about a second ago? Unlike whatever game we were talking about, that game also got me really into cars because I played Gran Turismo 3 when I was 16.
Need for Speed.
Hot Pursuit. Gran Turismo really got me into like, oh man, I never
played Gran Turismo.
It's good. It's hard, but
it's hard. It's more of the
simulation.
Need for Speed's more exactly.
Arcadey.
Need for Speed's more kind of fun, arcadey. Obviously Hot Pursuit run from the cops. Underground in the later years. Whereas, like you said, Gran Turismo's more simulation. And kind of the core of how
you would install different things to your car to make it faster. And for me, not knowing really that much about cars, I would just look to see like what was going to make the horsepower go up. That's all I would do. It's like, oh, you can put a racing chip, and then I was like, oh man, I'm going to look up if I can put a racing chip in my '98 Escort.
Exactly. Well, I think 2 was like the first one because Gran Turismo obviously was revolutionary itself. But 2 was, kind of that next step where you can realize I can, especially on such like an early console, I can really kind of create, what I want. This game is very, very open for the imagination. So, like I said, owned it on one of the games I owned later. But I mean, just it's really, really a lot of fun. So
nice choice. All right, my number 4. This is one I still go back to and play every year. It's a racing game, and that is Jet Moto. I know Vinny knows Jet Moto. I don't know about if Greg knows Jet Moto.
No, I don't know Jet Moto.
I freaking love this game. This was the first game I ever bought for myself once I got my PS1 after the games I got for Christmas from my parents. This was on the demo disc, and my dad and I saw it's jet skis, but they're also hover bikes. And I just remember we just thought that was amazing.
It's
futuristic. There's courses on mountains and in the swamps and on like the beach, and then there's a couple courses at the end that like you're suspended above like a city in the sky. It's really, really trippy. But I thought it was so cool too. There's a Mountain Dew team, there's a K2 team, there's a Butterfinger team, and an Axiom team, which I never found out what Axiom is, but love this game.
So it's racing, you said?
It's all it's just racing,
like futuristic racing.
Is it like Wipeout?
Not as futuristic, but yes.
Not as futuristic. Okay, all right.
Just imagine you have like a hover bike and you're just racing on that.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
There was all the different characters. I love this game. I still play it to this day.
Never played Jet Moto, but you have Jet Moto 3. You ever play that
3.
one?
No, I did not play 3. No.
You should play that one since you have it.
Yeah, I have it.
That one is my honorable mention is Jet Moto 3. I got that for like my birthday or something like that, but that was a lot of fun. I remember that. Like you do tricks and you race in like the catacombs and stuff like that. Jet Moto 3 was a great game. So you should give that a play.
I will try
if you like Jet Moto.
I have Jet Moto 2 and I didn't like that as much as this one, but the cool thing was the people that made Twisted Metal and Warhawk also made this. So there was a code you could do some of the if you had Twisted Metal, you could play on some of the Jet Moto tracks, which was always really cool too.
Nice.
So. All right, Vinny.
Shout out to Warhawk, right?
Warhawk, oof, that's a deep cut. I think I have that saved on my PS3, the PS1 version. It's really rough, really rough. Vinny, what's your number 3?
Number 3 for me is number 3 in the series. It's Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped.
Ooh, there you go. Choice.
I got that for Christmas, I believe, and played that nonstop. Love that game. That game had a lot of game time to it, or gameplay to it.
Yeah.
You would beat it, and then you have extra things you could do in it, kind of like Crash Team Racing, where you had to like race through a level, and each time you would like make what complete that, then you would get like an extra power up too.
Yeah.
Like you would get like the bazooka and stuff like that.
That's right.
And there were like planes you could fly, and like it was a lot of fun. I love that one. They had like the different eras too, like the medieval era, the space era.
You were traveling through time, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I love that one.
Levels where you had to race on the motorcycle and beat the other people.
Those were so fun.
They were so hard, but yeah, they were fun. The
Egyptian levels I thought were so hard because like the ones where you would get like the little lightning bug, and so like it would be completely pitch black, and then you get this lightning bug to light up the track, and then you would have to run, and then the bug would leave you at some point if you took too long. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that was awful.
I think I bought Crash Warped on the PSN store for my PS3, and I played through most of it, but then when they remade Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3 for PS4, I made sure I beat all three of them because I never beaten the second and third one. And yeah, that one's really good. It's really good. The new Crash Bandicoot's really good too. Crash 4, I believe is what it's called. But yeah, good call, Vinny. That's a good one. All right, Greg.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw Vinny, but I had it right there.
Have the case.
Nice.
I miss the little jewel cases that games used to come in. I like these so much more than I get the DVDs or a DVD.
Do you? Because they were a pain in the butt to open up.
Yeah, you had to peel off the tape at the top, and then like
either the top or the ones that were taped on all three sides.
On all three. I was so careful about it too. Make sure that I still careful about it. Make sure I peel.
I would. I don't know about you guys, but I would always take the manuals out because I would just leave them around the house. Like when I was in a different room, I could read a different manual and write stuff down in it. If I don't know,
sit on the John and read it.
But yeah, that was mostly what I did. Yeah, that was mostly it. Yeah.
See, I left it in the case, and I'm still a stickler about that. Like the manual still has to be in the case.
I have most of them in my case,
just kind of keep it tucked. Now that I have kids, it's ripped all over. Rip them apart, but. Definitely know what you mean right there.
All right, Greg, number 3.
3 for me was Resident Evil 2, and nice. I thought about including the original Silent Hill, and there you go right there. I thought about including Silent Hill as a possibility too, because I really loved some of the early horror genres, and I kind of stuck with Silent Hill all the way when they were making them to the Xbox 360, but. Obviously, horror is a big genre for me. I felt like for such an early game, it really captured, a lot of emotion, a lot of tension, got you tingling a little bit. And I will say that it was that, and they're doing like a movie on it now, aren't they?
Yeah. It just came out. It's like,
Welcome to Raccoon City, pretty much.
And I heard they kind of like jammed a little bit of the first game and a little bit of the second game.
Okay. So. And they did a like a remaster of 2 and 3.
That game is amazing on PS4.
Yeah, I just got the 2. I bought on Black Friday, and that is really not on the video game backlog. Just really good. Clear, was really, really well done, and it really captured, Dickie Dunn captured the spirit of the thing. So, big, like I said, big fan of the horror genre, and where else to go besides Resident Evil? So this was definitely one of my honorable mentions. That's why I have the case right here if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah. I hate all things horror and blood and guts and gore, so I don't know why I like the Resident Evil series, but I do. And I think
it's so well done.
I think I could get through the older games because when you got hit or bit, it was just a couple pixels of blood spraying out of you.
Yeah.
The newer games I really like. But like I have to play them in like increments because I get too freaked out.
Yeah.
And I played almost all of them up to 7. I've played up to all of them except I haven't played 8 yet. But
okay,
it's a great game. Yeah. So there you go. That was honorable mention for me. All right, my number 3. One of my favorites. I remember renting this from not Blockbuster, Hollywood Video again. I had money that time. And my dad and I got so into it. I'm sure he's listening and he doesn't.
Did you have the 7 cents this time?
I did
to cover you.
I brought extra just in case. And I know he
was walking in like Kramer to get the calzone.
Like if this damn kid doesn't have enough money again. Yeah, I was get the calzone.
Change in the pocket.
So I remember we rented this because I had a demo disc that you couldn't play the game. It had a video, and I was like, that looks so cool. So we got it. And my dad, anytime I rented like army shooter games, he would play them with me. And that is the original Metal Gear Solid.
Woo,
And I loved this case is so boring, but I loved this case. I thought it was so cool. It was just all white with the red text.
What more do you need?
Such an amazing game. Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, 4 are great. 5, I wasn't a huge fan of, but I had so much fun playing this with my dad, and I'm sure he's listening. He probably doesn't remember playing this, but the thing that I remember most about this, and you play as Solid Snake. There's a terrorist group takes over a nuclear missile base, and it's your job to try and take it back and free some people that are captured there. And there's a bunch of political intrigue and spies, and everything's not as they say it is. Blah blah blah. But the funniest thing is, I remember in the very beginning, I got spotted, and they call guards, and I'm getting shot like crazy and dying. And my dad's like, well, why don't you just go when you get spotted? Why don't you just climb under that truck over there and hide? And I'm like, games don't let you do that, Dad. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Just do it. Just do it. Make your dad happy. Just try it. Yeah. And sure enough, I started crawling, and you could literally crawl under the truck. And he's like, I told you could do it. And I'm just like, yeah, it blew my mind that a game would let you hide under a truck and let you crawl underneath it. So,
especially at that time.
At that time, it was like unheard of. So
it's unfathomable. I'm like, no, also, you can't do that.
Like, it was like full feature length movie cutscenes. They didn't look like a movie, but because the graphics aren't very good. But fully voice acted. And David Hayter, who did the voice of Solid Snake, also went on to write X-Men X2, I believe, and maybe X-Men 1.
Oh, did he really? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, great game. Highly recommend it. I remember when I rented it, one of the things is they tell you someone you have to contact on the radio channel. They put the radio channel on the back of the box, and they reference that in the game saying, hey, check the back of the box. I think somebody wrote down her radio contact information. I rented it from Hollywood Video. They didn't give you the box.
Right.
So I literally was on America Online trying to find out who I had to call.
Dialing
that's
up.
Funny.
Great game. I still play. That's another one I still play every couple of years. So that's my number 3. Vinny, number 2, what do you got?
Number 2 was another Christmas gift. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Ooh. Oh, there you go.
Did you guys, either of you guys play this?
Never played it.
You guys read the book, so Greg, or watch the movie?
I saw the movie.
I think I saw the first movie, and that was it.
It was
great
spot
movie
on for the book. It was kind of open world in the castle, so you could walk around to different things, and you had different places you had to go to in order to, continue the story. But it was a lot of fun. I think I played that instantly, and I probably beat it within like a month or two of playing it nonstop during Christmas break. That was number 2 for me. That was a lot of fun. Never played any of the other games in the series, and I heard that none of them were as good as the first one.
Did they do a game for each film or each book, or
they did for the first 3, and I think they made. I think they actually did for a couple of the other ones. Okay. Maybe they did for all of them. I don't know, but yeah, I only played the first one. So, and I know Lego did their.
Yeah, they made some too, right?
They made of the books and everything like that. So, but yeah, Harry Potter, Sorcerer's Stone, number 2 for me.
Awesome.
I'm going to make a prediction here that's saying if Vinny decides to go next gen console, it's going to be the Hogwarts Legacy game that's going to push him over the edge.
I saw videos of that. Yeah,
they do something else on that, and I know I sent that out to you guys a little while ago, and I was just like, oh, I know Vinny's a big Harry Potter guy, and that just looks so good. So that's a shot. That's a good call right there. Nice. I never read the book though, because I don't know how to read really well, but I did like the movie. So
movie and book were pretty good. They were close.
See, I've never read any of the books, and I've only seen like 2 of the movies. I really missed the boat on that. The
earlier movies were close to the books, but then as the series went on, the books got longer, so obviously they couldn't match up the movies.
I heard Goblet of Fire really made a lot of people mad, like the movie, because there was so
the movie
much
wasn't nearly as good. Yeah,
and I really liked the movie, but I never saw the book. So I never read the book. So I saw the book. I don't even know I saw the book, to tell you the truth.
Saw the pages, didn't know. What was
I didn't even know I opened it. So
the Goblet of Fire. Yeah, between the book and the movie, that was probably one of the biggest disparities. I really like that book, and the movie didn't live up to the book on that one. So yeah, I'm kind of in that camp with a lot of people.
Okay.
Although I did like the movie was still good though. So
yeah,
Nice.
I did like that one.
Greg, number 2.
Number 2 for me, also like you, Justin, didn't take me to Hollywood Video, but took me to Blockbuster to rent, and it just kind of had a similar origin story for me, the similar as Perfect Dark on the N64, where it started out as a Blockbuster rental and then just kind of changed your life from there, which was also Metal Gear Solid. So
nice.
Never actually owned it, to tell you the truth. For the PS1, I do have the Legacy Collection though for PS3, which included several of the titles. And Justin, I know you spoke on that. You're not a big fan of 5, which I own, but I haven't started yet. But
5 probably plays the best. I just don't like it because the story is stupid.
Because that game's gotten like rave.
Oh yeah, the gameplay is great. The story, like,
but I defer to your. I trust your opinion though.
No, I'm all in for the story. I feel like the gameplay of 1, 2, 3, and 4 is okay. It's the story that kind of brings you along, and then they flip-flopped it. The gameplay is probably the best it's ever been in 5, but the story is just so dumb. The game just kind of ends.
I guess
really dumb. But yeah,
it drew so many parallels for me to like Perfect Dark. Especially like you touched on it before. I know you made a lot of points, Justin, but just kind of like the cinematic journey it takes you through, something that was really new at the time, and just the fun, intense gameplay. And that really, I mean, when I got into like Metal Gear Solid 2 and everything on the future consoles, and then I never played. Did you ever play Metal Gear Rising?
No, never played that. No.
And I think that one's forgotten about, but it's made by the same. I mean, it's kind of like
different type of game. I think.
I think it's totally different. Yeah. But yeah, so definitely one that, like you said, when you went to Blockbuster.
It was out every week.
It was actually they were actually advertising it, believe it or not.
Really?
They had the little display TVs right there. I'm like, ooh, I want that game.
It's got to be good.
So that was a rental, but always something fun that stuck with me. So
all right, my number 2. This is a game I got for Christmas one year. I remember I never heard anything about it, never played anything like it. I went over to one of my friends that day, or that's Christmas break, whatever. And he's like, I got this game. It's kind of cool, but it's really dumb because you can only attack at certain points. You can't attack whenever you want. And I'm like, oh, well, you got to be doing something wrong. What kind of game would let you do that? So we started playing it, and sure enough, you had to wait for a bar to fill before you could attack. And I didn't know that was what a RPG game or role playing game was, and that is Final Fantasy VII.
Yep,
I love this. It's probably one of my favorite games of all time. And I know everyone says it's worth a lot because it doesn't have the greatest hits thing because it's an original case or whatever. I love this game. I've only beaten it once or twice. As a kid, I could always get to the final boss and then I'd have to cheat, but I didn't realize when you cheat, it would raise the level of all the difficulty too. So I could never beat it. But then they re-released it on PS4. They put cheats in it that wouldn't do that. I finally beat the game. The remake came out for PS4 and PS5. The remake's really good too. They changed some things about it, but yeah, Final Fantasy VII. I didn't really like 8, didn't really like 9. I liked 10 a lot, and those are the only other Final Fantasies I've played. So Final Fantasy VII.
Nice. I played that one on demo disc.
Yeah, that is. I'm not the biggest video game music guy, but this is one I've been meaning to buy the soundtrack to this game on iTunes for like 3 or 4 years, but I'm just too cheap because the soundtrack is $25. So I need to do that.
Is it really?
Yeah. Or I started listening to it on Spotify instead. I'm like,
a lot of video game music's underrated.
Yes,
like a lot of the that is one. Like a lot to be like a lot of Assassin's Creed stuff to be an example. I mean, there's some good scores.
I listen to that at work every day.
Yeah.
Do you really?
It's good stuff.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Awesome. I'm working. Yep,
it's great music. It's really well done music.
All right, we've hit number 1, Vinny. What's your number 1? I think I might know, but I could be wrong.
I don't think you do.
Okay, then I don't.
Number
know.
1 for me was another gift. I don't know if you have it in your collection there. It is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Oh, there
that
I
game
have my
was
copy. I don't have your copy.
Absolutely amazing. I loved everything about that game. That game was as close to perfect, I think, as you could get. I couldn't skateboard for the life of me, but you could create your own, you could create yourself. You could do your different moves, your different specials. You could create your own skate park. I love doing that.
Yeah.
There were so many cool hidden secrets in the game, like with this school. I never knew how. I had to enter in the cheat. I could never figure out how to get the pool unlocked at the schoolyard. Justin, you ever remember how to do that?
Never got the pool unlocked. I used my Game Shark though to unlock Darth Maul and Spider-Man though. And you could skateboard with them.
I remember Spider-Man. Spider-Man would have the trick where he would let his board go and then he would use his webs to get it back. That game was awesome. I played a lot of that. That game had a lot of playability.
The music in that
was fantastic.
All the soundtrack.
That game introduced me to Rage Against the Machine, which is still one of my favorite bands. It introduced me to, I think, the Dub Pistols. I still have a couple of their songs on my iPod. Power Man 5000.
Goldfinger.
Yeah.
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger. Yeah. Yeah, that's another one of my honorable mentions. Same thing, Vinny. I did the Create a Skater and went through it all. And then, the remake came out last year for PS4. And I totally, that was the first time I ever beat that game. Because I always would just skate around. I never did any of the objectives. So I never got very far.
Oh, okay.
Which is stupid because you got to do the objectives to unlock stuff, which I think I just used my Game Shark to eventually unlock everything.
Of course. Game Shark.
Yeah. But
it
Tony
came in
Hawk.
handy.
It did. The thing was awesome. I still have it. Next time you guys come over, I'll have to show you what it looks like. That's a great pick, Vinny. Good call. Greg, number one.
Number one for me was mentioned earlier. That is, I had a ton of fun with this game, played with my friends, and I thought, oh, Mario Kart, that's so much fun, until I started playing this game with my friends, and that was Crash Team Racing.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Such a great game.
I thought that game had so much, visual, and not bashing Mario. I'm a Mario Kart lover, will be for life, but just visually, if you can start right there, it was just amazing looking, and then just the amount of racers, items, courses, and
everything.
Just the playability factor of it was just so much more fun with your friends. I just feel like there was a lot more happening while you were racing, and of course the whole single player component. Where you're kind of driving around, the island to your different courses, so on and so forth, rather than just going through one after the other in a Mario Kart structure. So, and I did buy the remaster also, which came out a couple years ago, right?
Yeah,
which includes some other stuff as well. So that was a ton of fun. But Crash Team Racing, again, a game I never owned, but played a ton, and probably the most fun I've had playing PS1. So.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, that's another honorable mention. That's such a good game. Such a good game. I think that was the one I got my parents to buy me a multi-tap for Christmas so I could play that with my buddies.
Man.
Yeah. Have the four people playing at the same time.
Was it multi-tap or was it the boomerang? Because the boomerang was for PS1. The multi-tap was for PS2.
It was the boomerang.
Okay.
Yeah, that thing was awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
I think Crash Team Racing was like one of the only games that actually, I guess the sports games you could use it too.
Yeah.
But Crash Team Racing.
That's what you bought it for, pretty much.
It was for Crash Team Racing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. My number one, it's been mentioned. The series has been mentioned. I still don't know why I like these games, but that is Resident Evil Director's Cuts.
Nice.
I remember going to like a birthday party at one of my friends, and his cousin brought this, and I saw it, and I'm like, what is that? And then I immediately made my mom go to Toys R Us like the next week, and I saved up some birthday money and bought it. And just the story, it had like the actual movie scenes where they're running into the house at the beginning once their helicopter pilot takes off and leaves them behind because there's zombie dogs chasing them. I love this game. I remember the manual in the back is like literally nothing left to it because I kept taking it out to read about the different characters. Most of which they die. Not many survive, but
spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Never beat the game.
It's only been like 50 years.
And then I also, my Game Shark, I remember after I beat it a couple times, I would do the Game Shark. So it was like, start off with the submachine gun or start off with the Magnum, or the best shotgun, and just, completely demolish everybody. So I love that game. Love the series. Never seen really any of the movies though, because I don't like scary movies, but I love the video games. So bring back the old style Resident Evil though. I don't want it to be at first person anymore. Bring back the old style stuff. But do you guys got any honorable mentions before we move on to our listeners and then we call it a night and go to bed?
Yep. I got a a huge list here. I got FIFA 98 Road to the World Cup, Resident Evil Director's Cut. Mine case did not look like yours, so I don't know what was up with mine. Yeah. It just had a zombie on the front. So
yeah. I think I know what you're talking. Yeah, is it this one? That guy?
Yes. No, but it was different. It was
different.
Yeah, it was a little different.
Okay.
Maybe it was that. I don't know. Okay. Getting back to my honorable mentions. Poi Poi, Need for Speed, Porsche Unleashed. I don't know if you guys remember this, Treasure of the Deep. That was on a demo disc. I played that one. You were like a guy in the ocean on like one of those like hand submarines. And you would like get treasure and fight sharks and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. Jet Moto 3, Driver 2, where you could drive around open world in Chicago. Fantastic.
Oh,
game.
yeah.
Yep. Vigilante 8, Second Offense. The ugly cousin of Twisted Metal. Yep. Madden 2000, A Bug's Life, Cool Borders 2, Simpsons Wrestling, Spyro the Dragon. And Greg, I don't know if you knew that this game was out there. I would assume that you did, but I'm hoping I can trip you up.
Yeah.
007 Racing.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Yep.
I want to say I own that game.
Yeah.
But
it's not here. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the screenshots of it, and I was like, gosh, I swear I had the game, and some of them look familiar, and then some of them don't. So I'm like, I wonder how much I actually played that game, if I borrowed it from a friend or something like that. But yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
Good choices, Vinny. Greg, what about you?
Definitely some of mine. 007 Racing, I played a few times. And I thought it was really cool at the time, but you look back at it now, even for PS1, you're like, ooh, boy.
Yeah.
A couple of men you said before, Simpsons Wrestling. I'm glad you mentioned that because I played that game. I thought it was I thought it wasn't the best received, but I thought it was a crazy.
I remember I had it in my magazine. Like they rated it like a 0.5 out of 5. It got panned.
Yeah, it got panned, but I had a lot of fun with it. Anytime you even hear lines from The Simpsons, that's already like 1 star in my book. If you
at least,
me. But I thought it was a lot of fun. And then Spyro, I did play a little bit of Spyro. I had some fun with that, and I also bought the remaster of that.
That was the first time I played any of those besides the demos, and that's a really fun series.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It had a little bit of Banjo-Kazooie spirit in there. So. Those are, like I said, not the I know I mentioned Silent Hill before as a horror. I'm surprised you don't like Silent Hill more. That was a little less gore, I imagine.
I thought it was more gory and more scary. That's
some of them. I mean, it's definitely more scary, but I think it was toned down on the gore a little bit. But if from what I remember,
some of the scariness is. I still remember with Resident Evil. My mom would babysit our neighbor after she got home from school, and that was in the day when, like, with Resident Evil, I was so worried and scared of the game, but I would print out like the 40-page walkthrough off of like Game Facts back then or whatever it was.
Oh my God, Game Facts!
I still go to Game Facts for stuff. But I remember I had a folder.
It's still running?
It's still running.
That's amazing.
I had a folder in our den where my PS1 was, and it had all the different like cheats and walkthroughs for all the games I had. And this girl we babysat after school, she came over and she opened the folder and she wanted to read through it because she knew I was playing Resident Evil. Well, she put all the pages back in the wrong order. I was so pissed. Like,
did you cry?
6th grade, Justin was like, "Why would you do that?"
6th grade,
now I don't know how to get past these zombies. Come on.
That makes sense.
I'm stuck in the secret lab and the dogs are breaking through the windows. Damn it.
By the sound of him right now, he's still holding the grudge. The grudge is still being held. So
all right. Anyway,
Justin, really quick, I have to apologize. I have never played Final Fantasy in my life.
I don't know if you would like it though.
I haven't either. I don't know if you guys, demo disc.
It's the story is amazing. It's like at least Final Fantasy 7 is like a futuristic.
7 I've heard is like the best one ever.
Yeah, it's like a futuristic sci-fi story. It's awesome. I would highly recommend either picking that up or the remake's good too, but the original is like $10 on PS4, and you can hit a button so you have like unlimited life. So if you want to breeze through the game and just to get the story, you can do that. All right. Honorable mention, Star Wars Rebel Assault 2. It's awesome because it's literally just another Star Wars movie. It's all acted out with characters. They're not necessarily good actors, but it's pretty good. You guys ever play Ape Escape?
Nope.
No.
Oh my God. This is up there with Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. That's how good this is. So your job, they would drop you in a level and you would have to capture apes and send them back to present time because they got out and they're raining muck in like prehistoric time in the future and all that stuff. They stopped. They haven't made a one in a while. Twisted Metal 2. I love Twisted Metal 2. Outlaw is still the best character. Legend of Dragoon. You guys ever hear that?
Yeah, I've heard of the game. Yeah.
This was Sony's version of Final Fantasy. They tried to make this. It's another RPG. It's a little more like fantasy style, but really, really good. Really, really good game. And then lastly, just like Star Wars, this is called Colony Wars. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. It's like a space sim dogfight game. They had somebody that sounded like James Earl Jones do the voiceover. And it also had a branching story. So like if you failed the mission or if you finished the mission in a different way, the storyline would branch so you could get different stories and different endings.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah.
And they had like 10 or so different ships I think you could fly in there. So those are my honorable mentions. Real quick, you want to do listener write-ins and we'll call it a night?
I had one, Justin, it was on a demo disc.
Yes.
Star Wars Masters of Terrace.
Cassie.
Yep. Was that good?
Yeah, I liked it. It wasn't reviewed very well. I liked it a lot. And also they referenced Terrace Cassie in Solo. They say one of the characters is trained in the fighting arts of Terrace Cassie.
Interesting.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So,
that's a deep cut.
You got Luke, Han, Leia, some made-up character named Arden Lin, Chewbacca, a Gamorrean guard, a Tusken Raider, Luke, Boba Fett, and Princess Leia. And then you could unlock Jodo Cast, who I don't know, some Mandalorian. I always thought it was weird that the Tusken Raider's name was Hor. Hoar, but I always felt nervous playing this with my parents because they're like, why are you playing a game with a whore? All right. Anyway, I'll start. My buddy Greg wrote in, said Twisted Metal and Twisted Metal 2 were the best games on PS1. Those are great games. I agree, Greg. Vinny, you want to take the next one?
Yep. Sean on Facebook writes in Gran Turismo, NASCAR 99, Dino Crisis, Duke Nukem, and Destruction Derby.
Destruction Derby was good. That's when I learned that you shouldn't ram your car head first into other cars because it damages the engine. Greg, you want to take Jose?
Sure. Jose on Facebook writes in Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Siphon Filter, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Great calls there.
I think that might be why Jose and I are such good friends.
I was going to say, that looks like your list, Justin.
Yeah, I remember when I first met him, his text message tone went off, and it was the radio signal codec call from Metal Gear Solid. I'm like, I'm going to like this guy. All right, Erica, my wonderful wife, wrote in. She said, the only ones I remember playing were Frogger and Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, which those Oddworld games, I had demos of those. Those were so damn hard.
You should have the copy of the game.
Yes, I do now. I do now. I have yours. Yeah. And she also said there was some racing game that she sucked at, but she really liked. Vinny, do you have any idea what that would be?
It's got to be Need for Speed because that was one that we owned. Yeah,
that's what I figured.
You should have her play that. You should play her in it.
we should film her playing it and put it on the YouTube channel.
Exactly.
That'll go great. All right, Vinny, you want to take Zach? He is our Mariners correspondent.
Zach on Facebook writes in Gran Turismo 2, Driver 2, as we talked about.
Yes.
Thrasher, Skate and Destroy, Dukes of Hazzard, Racing for Home. Not a good game, but I love Dukes so much. I beat it and had fun, is what he wrote in.
I remember my buddy had I never heard of Dukes of Hazzard either. My buddy had Driver 2, and I remember you could go to the Chicago level, and if you went to Wrigley, in the basement of Wrigley, there was a Chevelle, I think, or like a yellow Chevelle.
Oh wow,
those games were so hard.
Yeah, I just did the driving around Chicago, and I guess I only went to Wrigley and never. Could you go to?
You could get in somehow. Comiskey? No, I don't think you go to Comiskey.
No. Okay,
who wants to go to Comiskey?
Sox fans.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I always think about that game though, when I do downtown Chicago, and I'm like by the subway, or I guess not subway, but the train, and you're in the street, because the street, it's got the pillars for the train. I always think of that game because I would always hit them driving around.
That game was I remember Driver 1. I was so excited for. I had a demo for it, and then I rented the game, and the first level was having to do like all these tricks and turns with the car, and I could never do that. So I rented the game. I never got past the like introduction. So I just went back to playing the demo all the time. All right.
Blaine on Twitter, the boss, Blaine, co-founder of Belly Up Sports, he's listening to us. So in my most professional podcast voice, Crash where'd it go?
It's right. It's at the top. There you go.
Crash Bandicoot, Twisted Metal, Spyro the Dragon, Metal Gear Solid, and help me out with
the rapper.
Rapper the rapper.
I had the demo of that. I loved that.
Yes.
I had the demo.
It was kind of like it was like a Dance Dance Revolution, but you would use the controller and you would have to match up the sequence, and it was just a little, I don't know, was it a panda bear rapping or a dog or something like that?
Dog maybe?
It was a cartoon character, but I remember playing that on a demo disc.
Yeah, I had the demo. Nice. It was like you were with a Master Onion, I want to say. It was like Chop Master Onion.
Yep.
All right. Rob on Facebook says, in no order: Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Resident Evil 2, Lunar 2, Darkstalkers 3, Twisted Metal 2, and Suikoden, which I think I bought on PSN and I didn't get very far in it. But thank you, Rob, for writing in. Then you want to take Trent.
Trent on Facebook writes in from going 5-1, Crash Team Racing, Final Fantasy VII, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, number 2, Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, and Crash Bandicoot Warped was his number 1.
Nice.
Great list.
Awesome.
Greg,
go ahead.
Seth from Facebook writes in, this is tough, and I don't think I could give 100% true list, LOL. Mix of nostalgia playing nowadays and not being as good playing with cheats like with Final Fantasy VII, so I don't think I can count it. Well, Justin's Game Shark in it over there, so I think you can count it, Seth.
I got you, Seth. Yeah. The PS4 version of the original, there's a code so you can turn on unlimited life, I think unlimited money, and no random battles, so you can just breeze through the game. It was a lot of fun.
Justin likes the easy, no conflict.
I don't want to have any stress.
Yep.
I got enough stress in my life.
Got enough stress. Don't want it with the video games.
Gala of Earth on Twitter said Ape Escape, good call. Mega Man Legends, also a good call. Resident Evil 2 DualShock version, which I think was like a kind of like the director's cut for Resident Evil 2. Mm-hmm. Final Fantasy 8 and Suikoden 2, honorable mentions. Parasite Eve, Rogue Trip, Red Asphalt, Legend of Dragoon, very nice. Revolt, I remember. Silent Hill, and G Darius. I don't remember G Darius, but thank you for writing in.
Don't remember a lot of those. Bob Badul, or how do you say that?
Bob Buell, maybe?
Bob Buell on Discord writes in Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy 9, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Final Fantasy Tactics, and Crash Team Racing. I'm sure I'm missing a better 5th game, but it's not coming to me.
Crash Team Racing was
great.
That's pretty
good. You're fine.
Evan One Sonic on Discord writes in Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 9, Tomb Raider, Crash Bandicoot, and Final Fantasy 8.
Oh, I had the demo for Tomb Raider 2. I played that so much because I thought it was so cool, like being in the cave with the tiger and all that. It was so hard, though. That game was damn near impossible to play, at least now anyway. Johnny on Discord said Final Fantasy 7, Metal Gear Solid, Suikoden 1 and 2, and one of the Tekkens, probably Tekken 3.
Tekken 3,
Tekken 3 was really good.
Yeah.
I had Tekken 2. I got on PS2. I got really into Tekken 5. I thought I was going to be a pro fighter player, but it didn't pan out. So. Go figure. Go ahead, Vinny.
Yep, Dr. Mantis Toboggan writes in from the text line, Tomb Raider, Crash Bandicoot 2, and Spyro 2. Thank you, Doctor.
Go. Nice. And Greg, you want to finish this off here?
You finish it off, Justin.
Sure.
Go ahead.
All right. Jordan on Discord said Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That was one I played. I bought it a couple of years ago. It's all right. I couldn't get into it though.
It's a highly rated.
It's very highly rated. Yeah. Suikoden 2, Final Fantasy 7, Xenogears is another one I remember being.
I've heard of Xenogears.
Yeah, that's really good. Never played that. And Metal Gear Solid. So thank you guys for writing in. We are done.
Guys.
Longest episode ever, I think. It was a marathon tonight. So
yes, it was.
Lots of good baseball talk. Thanks to our ad reader Rob Manfred there at the beginning. Lots of good. I could talk about PS1 games all the time. Like that is probably my favorite console of all time.
Well, I'm sure we'll have plenty of time thanks to Rob and everyone.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Now we're lockout and whatever. So what better time to start a baseball podcast than right before a labor strike or shortage, labor strife, I should say. Greg, Vinny, you got anything else before we wrap up? That's all I got.
That's all I have.
All right. Check out Vinny's Blast from the Past last week on a Thanksgiving game that took place in 1993. Was that right? I don't remember what year it was.
It was the 25th. I don't know if that would be constitute. I don't know when that was.
When it was. Okay. But anyway, check that out. We got our Blast from the Past episodes where we recapped other sports games and what's going on in the past. It's a lot of fun. If you want to contact us, reach us at baseball and what on Twitter. Email us at baseballandwhatever@gmail.com or the official email, the fancy one, baseball and whatever podcast at bellyupsports.com, facebook.com/baseball and whatever. Search the video version of this on Baseball and Whatever on YouTube. And of course, text us at 1-913-808-3278. That number again is 1-913-808-FART.
Manfred.
Here we go. All right.
Fart sound.
I'm going to go play some PS1 games tomorrow morning, I think, when the baby's sleeping. Other than that, we will see you all next week. Hopefully the baseball lockout will be over with. Who am I kidding? That's not going to happen.
Good joke.
Yeah. I'll end on a high note. Anyway, have a great weekend, guys. We will see you all next week. Take care, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
See ya.